last year. We're looking for another classic today in the 82nd edition, and it's going to be a contrast in styles. Alabama State, they like to slow it down. Great defense, only giving up 20 points a game against an Alabama A&M offense that likes to go up and down the football field.
Absolutely, and of course for Alabama A&M, they're going to be led by their quarterback, Xavier Langford.
Well, they call him X at Alabama A&M. 6'2", 200-pound junior had an outstanding game against Grambling 2 weeks ago. 320 yards of total offense, 193 yards on the ground alone, accounted for 3 touchdowns. He's got to protect the football this afternoon against that swarming defense.
And someone that'll be on his heels all afternoon long is the star linebacker for the Hornets, Colton Bubba Adams.
Well, Bubba Adams, he's been the leader of this defense for some time now. He's the guy every coach has to game plan around. He leads a Hornet defense that only gives up 18 points per game. Last game against Jackson, he had 14 tackles, 3.5 for loss. He also gets after the quarterback, 2.5 sacks on the season.
And there is the head coach of the Alabama State University Hornets, Eddie Robinson Jr., his second season as the skipper, 9-8 overall. What a big game this is.
And look, he won this ball game in his debut last year, trying to make it 2 in a row over Coach Maynard. And, of course, those guys played each other during their collegiate days.
Absolutely. Connell Maynard, who is in his 6th season as the Alabama A&M skipper, one of the most successful coaches over the last 2 decades. He was the quarterback at North Carolina A&T when they played against Alabama State. Eddie Robinson Jr. was in the secondary.
Yeah, absolutely. So both of these ball clubs ready to knock heads once again here in Birmingham. Beautiful sunny afternoon, 83 degrees at kickoff, 41% humidity, so it'll be a little sticky, slight breeze out of the southeast at about 5 miles per hour.
You saw the specialists on the field. Cordell Montgomery was back there, and it goes out of the end zone. Oh, Cordell Montgomery will take the football, as a matter of fact, across the 20, and he gets all the way out past the 35-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. Davero Moffitt on the return for Alabama A&M, and there's Xavier Langford, who is going to have a big game today as he did against Grambling.
Right, he had a huge game last week against Grambling. You see his season numbers, 670 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But last week he had 193 yards on the ground alone. They caught Grambling in a lot of man-to-man defense. That allowed Langford to use his legs. We'll see if he can duplicate that effort here this afternoon.
And, of course, there's a triple threat here when you talk about running the football. Xavier Langford obviously had a big game. He can run the football. And then right there with him, how about the tandem there at running back? Of course, you've got the big guy, Donovan Eaglin, who's going to be big for this football team, as well as Ryan Morrow.
After a big penalty, they're going to start inside their own 10-yard line.
Langford will go to the air to start things off here for Alabama A&M. And he goes out to Cameron Young, the senior from Mobile, Alabama, on the first down.
Yeah, Cameron Young, he's their leading receiver on the season. 36 receptions, 329 yards, averaging 9 yards per catch.
Let's take a look at the impact players presented by GM, proud sponsors of the swag.
Well, for Alabama A&M, it's on the defensive side. Emory Pate leads the team with 3 interceptions. Zarion Hayes, he's been a monster with 3.5 sacks. And Traquan Thomas for Alabama State, he's been outstanding on the outside with 5 sacks. Keyshawn Johnson is the guy you want to watch for Alabama State on the offense.
And for Alabama A&M, they'll get it to Terrell Gardner, the senior from Birmingham. Gardner with a minimal gain, and it'll be third down. Keys to the game presented by GM for Alabama A&M.
Well, look, they want to win the turnover battle in this ball game. That's always huge in this matchup. They also want to limit the explosive plays of Alabama State. Alabama State does not go up and down the field very well. And for Alabama A&M, they want to win be solid on special teams.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 63. Half the distance to the goal.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Joshua Anderson, who is starting at right guard, as a matter of fact. Ramir Lewis is moving to left guard, and Jonathan Williams at the right tackle. So some shifting in the offensive line, and Joshua Anderson getting the penalty. Nonetheless, Joshua Anderson, he is a rap star, so to speak, as Connell Maynard told us about that. He gives a rap to the team before every single game, and his hype man is, of course, Jonathan Williams.
Well, they need to settle the team down. They don't need a hype man right now. 2 big penalties, one on the opening kickoff and one there on the third down play.
Here's the pass. Great defense by Alabama A&M, and coming to make the big stop for the Hornets is Amon Scarborough, the junior from right here in Birmingham.
So we talk about mistakes in this ball game early on, and you see Langford on the third and long.
Penalty is declined. 4th down.
And another penalty by Alabama A&M. Late hit on Xavier Langford. It's declined, and of course Alabama State will get the ball in great territory.
Yeah, so again, as for Alabama A&M making a lot of mistakes early in this ball game, you saw the penalty on the opening kickoff, would have had the ball out near the 40-yard line, had to take it inside the 10-yard line, then back-to-back penalties on offense. Now they will be punting from their own end zone. And Coach talked about being solid on special teams where they were not on the opening kickoff return. Let's see if they can get a good punt away against this Alabama State special teams unit.
Austin McCready will punt the ball away for Alabama A&M, and this one is a short one. It will take an Alabama A&M roll out to about the midfield stripe, and recovering it for Alabama State will be Robert McKinn, who is the kick returner and the punt returner, and they will get the ball in excellent field position.
Before the kick, holding, offense number 33. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
And another penalty against Alabama A&M. This one also declined because Alabama State gets the ball in great field position.
Wow, Connell Maynard cannot be happy with the start of this football game for his Bulldogs. As we take a look at Damon Stewart, the starting quarterback for Alabama State, 5'11", 167-pound sophomore out of Hattiesburg, 648 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He took over for Demetrius Davis. He wants to clean up those mistakes.
And one of the things that Coach Robinson Jr. spoke about during our discussion with him, they want to get the short field, and that's exactly what they've done. This ball batted away and nearly intercepted by Alabama A&M. Boy, that could have been a huge break. Zarian Hayes, who is first team all-conference coming into the season, the transfer from Appalachian State, nearly came away with the football, and he had nothing but real estate.
Well, watch him get his hands up. He beats the block of the right tackle. Could have called holding there, if not anything else, but a great job. Nearly had the pick 6 off the first defensive snap for Alabama A&M.
That'll bring up 2nd down here for the Hornets. Short pass, and it goes nowhere here on 2nd down for Alabama State. Tyree Saunders on the catch. Here are the keys of the game for Alabama State, presented by General Motors.
Well, for the Hornets, that swarm defense, they want to stop the running game of Alabama A&M, make them one-dimensional. They also want to confuse X, Xavier Langford. They want to get him off of his game, and they have to win in the trenches up front. Very important for this offensive line of Alabama State to set the tone early against this tough front 4 of the Bulldogs.
This is something that Alabama State didn't want, 3rd and long. And taking off with the football is Damon Stewart.
I think he crossed the line of scrimmage, or he was very close to it. I saw a flag fly from the side judge on the far sideline.
Both of these coaches discussed you cannot have penalties in this ball game.
Pass on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Down to 2. 4th down.
Well, and after getting the short field, after a big defensive stand by Alabama State to start this ball game, the Hornets will have to punt the football.
So a lot of nerves in this ball game. You can tell early on for both of these offenses. You see Stewart well past the line of scrimmage when he releases the football. So both of these teams are going to have to settle into this ball game. Let the emotions die down. Let the game come to you. Emotions running very high for both of these ball clubs early on.
And that's what they spoke about, is we have to keep the emotions in check. We know that this is an exciting ball game. We know that this game is big, but we have to keep our emotions in check. Punting situation for the Hornets. Harrison Tuck will get this ball away and will come down to Alabama A&M at about the 6-yard line, and that's where we will take over when we come back from break. The Bulldogs with their 2nd possession coming up. By Pepsi, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And by GM, proud sponsor of the SWAC. Back here in Birmingham, Alabama, no score between the Bulldogs and the Hornets in the 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic. If you're just now joining us, Antoria Black, along with Ken Moore. And there you see the Bulldog cheerleaders as they are excited about today's game. If you're wondering, everybody's getting into the breast cancer awareness swing of things. Of course, you see cheerleaders with pink pom-poms. Some of the players, if they're allowed to wear different color pink socks. And, of course, you've got a pink tie on, Ken.
Oh, yeah, I could rock the pink a little bit. You know, real man wear pink.
I look like a big cotton candy if I wear. I tried a pink shirt. It looked like you just put me in like cotton candy. Alabama A&M will take over, first down and 10. And once again, they don't have the best of field position. Eagling with the carry. A helmet pops off, and it will be a second down here as, boy, this is one of those things that Alabama State spoke about. You got to stop the run, and that's the way you have to do it, by swarming to the football. Yeah, absolutely. Doing a great job here, balling up Eagling on that first down play. Always worries me when a helmet goes flying. Just make sure a head is not inside that helmet. But a good job on first down. Alabama A&M for the second consecutive drive, starting inside their own 10-yard line. Very important for Xavier Langford to take care of the football here deep in his own end. And this will have to make sure that they do not have a lot of penalties in this drive. Langford, nice pass into the seam. And for Cameron Young, should say Terrell Gardner, the senior, gets a minimal gain. Well, this is an Alabama A&M offense. They are second in the SWAC in SWAC games, averaging 29 points per contest, over 393 yards per game on the season. Langford will carry the football, and man, that defense of Alabama State is just stinging this running game of Alabama A&M. Well, that's what Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. preaches, former linebacker himself at Alabama State, former defensive player of the year in the SWAC, top draft pick of the Houston Oilers back in the day, played in the Super Bowl with the Tennessee Titans, and he has a great reputation as a stalwart on the defensive side, calling defensive signals, and it's going to be another 3 and out for this Alabama A&M offense. Time for a punt here for this A&M Bulldog football team. And for the Bulldogs, Austin McCready is averaging a little over 40 yards a kick and a flag on the play. It's going to be a delay of game penalty this time against the Bulldogs.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Already the third accepted penalty against Alabama A&M. And one of the things that Coach Maynard talked about was being solid on special teams. They have not thus far in the opening stages of this ball game.
McCready will once again kick this football. And this time McCready gets away a good high kick, and McKinn will take off with the football. McKinn gets inside the 15. Touchdown, Alabama State. Robert McMinn with the kick return, and the Hornets strike first, 6-0, Alabama State.
Well, a great return by McMinn. As you mentioned, it was a high punt, but the coverage unit did not get down. Look at all the open space that McMinn has. Great blocks on the outside, and he goes untouched, about 45 yards for the score. And the Hornets strike first as they drop the hammer on Alabama A&M to begin this one.
It's all about the momentum when you talk about this classic. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. But what a way to start things out when your offense isn't doing as well. They've got -4 yards so far. As far as their offense, the special teams picks it up. Extra point try. It's up. And we have a 7-0 ball game. Alabama State on top.
Every year, thousands of athletes get clutch moments through the fall in hydration. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Hydrate, replenish, refuel.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Huge play coming up.
Talking about dropping the ball.
I got the score.
Tostitos Hardy Dippers.
Doritos created Solid Black in 2021 to help fuel the initiatives of black leaders seeking to drive real change. Like Al and his vision to spread literacy, literally. Or Marvin Pierre, who's empowering our youth with skills that bridge the opportunity gap. Or Jessica John, whose dedication and dreams helps make college a reality. And many more. Check out their stories and help shape change. Solid Black. Join us, try another angle.
In 1920, an athletic league was born and slowly became one of the leading sports associations in the world of collegiate athletics, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Today, the SWAC is looking towards the next century, growing, supporting, and transforming our intercollegiate sports activities for student athletes and promoting academic excellence. Each SWAC member institution represents a high level of integrity and sportsmanship. We are the SWAC, building champions for life.
There you see the skyline of downtown Birmingham, Alabama, as magical things happen when these two teams play, and something has already happened, and that's Alabama State getting their first punt return for a touchdown this season. 48-yard return by Robert McMinn.
Yeah, quick strike for Alabama State as they jump on top early, and Alabama A&M, special teams hurting them thus far.
And this one goes out of the end zone, and Alabama A&M will take over. And let's take a look at that touchdown once again, Ken.
Yeah, and look at all the open space as the coverage unit very slow in getting downfield. And McMinn, again, untouched, 48 yards to the house as Alabama State strikes first. Great job by that punt return unit.
And one of the things that you noticed, though, in that return is because you didn't have really a lot of field, you had really a short field, there wasn't a lot of time for the return team, I should say for the punt team, to really recover after everybody was kind of away from the football.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a bad situation being forced deep in their own territory. But now they finally have decent field position as they'll start at their own 25.
First down for Alabama A&M, and Langford will keep the football. He gets into the open field, and he's tackled just shy of the 40-yard line, and he had over 190 yards in that game against Grambling. He shows why. He's got some great wheels.
Yeah, just zone read did a great job of reading the defensive end. Defensive end crashes down. That's the key for the quarterback to pull it and keep it.
Brian Morrow now with the carry, and a helmet comes off. One of the big offensive linemen loses his helmet, and that's going to be Joshua Anderson, or we should call him DJ Joshua Anderson, losing his helmet. He is the right guard today, and he has to come out for one play.
Where you saw Bubba Adams making that tackle there. He had 14 tackles a couple of weeks ago against Grambling. He has been a monster on defense for the last 2 seasons for this Alabama State defense.
And now second down and 8 coming up here for Alabama A&M. And whistles all over the place. Delay a game and another penalty by Alabama A&M.
Second delay of game penalty. You see Xavier Langford going over to talk to the head official. I'm not sure if he can see the play clock or if he wanted the play clock to be reset for some reason, but nevertheless, another penalty against Alabama A&M.
You just said it. He was asking the official, where's the play clock at?
Oh, where is the play clock?
And he finally saw it. I guess it couldn't really see it. There you see yards comparison so far in this ball game. Langford gets it off to Donovan Eaglin, and he gets a few yards on this one. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's third down and long.
But look, it's going to be tough slating against this Hornet defense. They only allow 3.2 yards per carry on the season. They allow opponents only 105 yards per game on the ground.
Now for Alabama A&M, trips to the bottom of your screen. And they have to use this 5-receiver set now on 3rd and long. We'll talk about our buffet busters here in just a second. Langford tried to get it into his wide receiver, and it is incomplete. Jacoby Hewitt, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee, the transfer from FIU, was the intended man downfield.
And that was a great job. Adrian Maddox, the 6'3", 200-pound sophomore. Watch him come up and drive on the football. Perfect timing to get there to meet the ball and the receiver at the same time.
And another punt here for Alabama A&M. Austin McCready has been busy, and Robert McMinn back deep. And I tell you what, I would almost bet that this special teams will look at McMinn a little bit differently now. This time McCready gets a good high punt away and sends McMinn back. Gets away from one tackler. McMinn's still on his feet, and he gets out of bounds after a pretty decent return out to about the 30-yard line, and that's where the Hornets will take over.
Well, one thing I noticed is that Alabama A&M, they got a lot of big bodies on their punt coverage unit. It's hard for those big fellas to run a 40-yard sprint and get downfield, so that allows the opponent to have a lot of operating room. And McMinn with 2 nice returns here in the first period, and Alabama State is going to start off with some great field position across the 30-yard line.
And one of our buffet busters we'll talk about is Robert Alston, the 4th. So got a penalty on the play. Looks like it's going to be a false start against Alabama State.
False start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Jaheim Shannon with the false start. Robert Alston, the 4th. He is the left guard in this ball game, as you'll see, 71. And once you get all of that inertia moving, it's awfully difficult to slow down. Robert Alston, 6'4", 334 from Linden, Alabama. He's our buffet buster this week for Alabama State. And this play on first down goes virtually nowhere. And boy, you're really seeing both of these defenses trying to assert themselves on the line of scrimmage. And when you talk to both coaches coming into this ball game, both of them said whoever controls the line controls the game.
It's going to be tough sledding for both of these teams to run the football this afternoon. We talked about Alabama State's run defense. Alabama A&M, no slouch themselves. They give only 3.7 yards per carry rushing the football.
Here is the give, and right there making a huge tackle for A&M, Zarian Hayes, the defensive end. He went after the ball and just nowhere to go for the running back.
Well, Zarian Hayes, he has been outstanding so far this season. 3rd on the team in tackles with 35, leads the team in sacks with 3.5, also leads in tackles for loss with 10 on the season.
Juwan Howell was the running back, the graduate student from Lynette, Alabama, transfer from North Alabama. And now Damon Stewart trying to make something happen here on 3rd down as he gets the football to Keyshawn Johnson, well short of the first down, though.
Yeah, that's going to force a punting situation. You see Stewart rolling out to his right, looking for Keyshawn, and he finds him.
10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's going to be a hold, this time against Trayvon Taylor, the 6'4", 284-pound redshirt junior from Miami, Florida.
Interesting decision there by Coach Connell Maynard. If they had him stopped, it would have been 4th down, would have forced a punting situation for Alabama State. But Coach Maynard trusts his defense to push him back 10 yards. Feels like they can hold him again and get a little bit better field position on the punt exchange. But let's see if they can hold him again on 3rd and long.
And we still see some rotation going out here for this Alabama A&M defense. Stewart gets the ball out to the running back, and it is complete. And that's going to go out to A.J. Gates, but well short of the first down. And the gamble worked. If you're Coach Maynard, you're going to get the ball in great field position, probably the best field position of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, prior to that penalty, they would have been punting, outside their own 30-yard line. Now they're going to be punting from the 21. And they should get good field position, Alabama A&M.
Alabama State will punt the football. Harrison Tuck standing at his own 7.
Whoa.
And he nearly lost the football. Tuck is going to be tackled. The ball is picked up. And Alabama A&M will have the ball inside the 5-yard line. Braxton Tolliver recovers the muff punt and the fumble. And A&M is in business just like that. 2 special teams plays. And the Bulldogs inside the 5.
Well, turnabout is fair play as he gets drilled that time. Coming up to make the big hit for Alabama A&M was Kylie Griffin. And then the football picked up and recovered by number 19, N'Kobe Myers. And just like that, Alabama A&M in business inside the 5.
Xavier Langford with the ball, first down and 10. And boy, it's a first and goal. And Alabama A&M's defense, or I should say Alabama State's defense, really moving to the football.
So, wow, you talk about special teams playing a huge factor early in this ball game. The punt return for the touchdown by Alabama State, and now Alabama A&M trying to take advantage of a bad snap by the Hornets. But they go in reverse on first down and goal.
And here is the give. It's time to Ryan Morrow, the running back, and he goes virtually nowhere. And third down and goal coming up.
Yeah, and watch this play by Andrew Ogletree, number 2, just getting in, 2'6", 274-pound senior out of Columbus, Georgia, making an impact play early in this one. And now it's going to be third down for Alabama A&M.
Morrow, of course, was player of the week earlier this season when Donovan Eaglin was out of the lineup. And so, really, you have almost a triple option here if you're Alabama A&M in the running game. Langford passing, incomplete, no flags.
Oh, my, flag comes in late, and I think that's a bad call. I think that's a bad call against Victor.
Mikey Victor, the cornerback, will be flagged almost certainly for pass interference.
He may have gotten there early, but let's see what the call is.
Pass interference. Number 7. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 2-yard line. First down.
So the ball will be on the 2. And I guess they said that left arm.
Yeah. Man, that was close. I thought it was a good play.
So first and goal here for Alabama A&M. And again, Morrow goes nowhere. These defenses have just been stellar so far in this game.
Yeah, you saw Bubba Adams flying up from his inside linebacker position to meet Morrow in the line of scrimmage. And, you know, for Alabama A&M, scoring inside the red zone is important.
Morrow once again. And will he be called down inside the 1? Yes, he will be. So the Alabama State defense will deny, actually it's going to be Langford who got the direct snap, was denied the goal line. And that will bring up third and goal. Langford will try it again, and Langford will go in for the score and touchdown, Alabama A&M.
Well, you just keep giving it to the big quarterback and see if he can punch it in, and eventually he's going to be able to get 1 yard. That was just too tough of a task to ask for this Alabama State defense as Langford carries it in from 1 yard out. Good, strong run over the left side by the big, strong quarterback, 6'2", 200 pounds.
That's his third rushing touchdown of the season. And the Bulldogs will try to tie this ball game up at 7. Victor Barbosa, veteran on this team, will kick it up. It is good, and we have a tie ball game here in Birmingham. Well, special teams have been the name of the game, and the special teams for A&M set up this 1-yard touchdown run. So Xavier Langford to tie it up at 7. Game is tied here in the 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic as Xavier Langford puts Alabama A&M on the board. And, boy, you talk about this game and all that it has to offer. We'll tell you about some of the great things that they have done this week to get ready for the kickoff here for the Bulldogs. Luke Moffitt will kick it off, and he comes down inside the 20. McMinn once again with the run back. McMinn, big run, and he gets out almost to the 45-yard line. The last time that these two teams played, it went down to the wire, literally. And Alabama State came away with the victory.
Yeah, that was a big ball game last year. It came down to the wire. Alabama A&M had a chance to tie the ball game in the final seconds. That Alabama State defense stopped them inside the 5-yard line to come away with a tough 24-17 victory. And we talked to Coach Eddie Robinson. He's like, look, I played in this game. I broadcast this game. For me to get the win in my first year as a head coach meant the world to me. And now he wants to make it back-to-back wins against his arch rival.
And there you see a little bit of an adjustment there by the Alabama A&M defense. And, boy, they swarm the football as they get after Juwan Howland. That's something that Coach Maynard talked about. We have to give Alabama State different looks defensively in order to throw things off.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Maynard talked about, this Alabama State offense. They will use multiple formations. He says this team uses more formations than any team that he has coached against this year. Now, Alabama State, they have not been as successful offensively, only averaging 18 points per ball game on the offensive side of the football, but they want to control the clock and develop second and short, third and short situations for Stewart, the quarterback.
And there you see a big run there. And McMinn, not only is he a fantastic return man, but also he gets outside on the running game.
Yeah, it looks like he hurt that left arm a little bit, so he's going to come to the sideline. No, he's going to actually stay in the ball game, but you see that left arm, he's kind of squeezing his left hand a little bit. He may have hit the funny bone there. Sometimes that'll happen and kind of you'll lose the feeling for a moment.
Now he will serve as a wideout here for Alabama State. Here's a pass, and it goes to McMinn. Boy, he has done everything. He's run the football. He's caught the football. He's a punt return. He's done everything, and guess what? They are queuing in on him big time.
Yeah, you see him coming across, Zone defense, good throw that time, but coming up the zone buster that time, coming up to make the stop was Caleb Dawson as he put an end to that drive. So a quick 3 and out for Alabama State, and they're going to have to punt the football right back to the Bulldogs.
You know, in that last game against the Jackson State University Tigers, a game that Alabama State won, McMinn was held without a receiving catch in that ball game. This ball bounces inside the 20. And that's where Alabama A&M will take over first down and 10 at the 16-yard line. This is the 82nd edition of this ball game, 87th overall. The Bulldogs lead this series 44-40-3. And, you know, I tell you, this game, not only is it big for the fans, but it brings a heck of amount of money into the city of Birmingham.
Yeah, absolutely. You think of all the alumni from both of these schools and all the dignitaries that flock to the state of Alabama and the city of Birmingham. And one thing that I didn't know, you know, until we had to talk this week, is that there's no high school football the night before the game. So as big as Friday night football is in the state of Alabama, there was no high school football last night as everyone congregates for this ball game.
Yep, no high school football and no school in the city of Birmingham last night. And so that just tells you just how big this football game is. As a matter of fact, $20 million impact into the city of Birmingham. That lets you know that this game is big. Well, we're just about winding down here the first quarter as we are tied up between the Bulldogs and the Hornets.
The end of one.
Get ready for the second quarter. Connell Maynard talking to his quarterback, Xavier Langford, as the Bulldogs will have the football to start the second period.
Yeah.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Well, we got to find some way to save, so say hi to Glenn from work.
Hey, that's my mom.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon. We just pick our perks.
Disney bundle, mobile hotspot.
And save on everyone.
That is a good plan. Glenn, looks like we're not going to be needing you, so I'll see you at work.
Oh, later, Glenn.
Get my plan starting at just $25 when you bring your own phones. Plus, save on the best in entertainment when you add perks, like the Disney bundle. It's your Verizon.
Mom, can we go to the movies?
Not now, sweetie. How are we ever going to find a car to fit our budget?
And it fits all of us.
Carvana.
I don't want to spend more than $30K.
Budget.
I want something we can go camping in.
Style.
You like heated seats.
And you like singing at stoplights.
Premium sound.
And we both need parking assist.
Here. I'll meet you outside. Bring your purse.
Carvana, our kid's a genius.
How do we get it?
They deliver!
Oh, all right, let's go.
Buy your car the easy way with Carvana.
This delectable ramen noodle recipe will put an end to your drive-through dinner rituals. Throw that powder and that tasty combo of delightful carrots and the rich touch of bok choy. Norte's combos. It's not fast food, but it's so good.
Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, brings you the Ego Power Plus blower. Reaching an incredible 765 CFM, it's more powerful than gas. And at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour, it's the industry's most powerful blower. Featuring Ego's patented 56-volt arc lithium battery technology, it runs up to 90 minutes on a single charge. Plus, the same battery powers all Ego tools, exclusively at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
Remember why you became a nurse? You wanted to help people. And girl, you're just getting started. You know what's next. Getting your graduate degree. That's how you can change this place for the better. For yourself, your patients, the whole community. You want to make change happen? Walden University is all about change. It's time.
Walden University. Set a course for change.
Hey, Dad. What's the ocean like?
You were made to remember some days forever. We were made to help you find the best way there.
Kate here has been a little stressed out about her holiday to-dos, but you don't need more tinsel, Kate. You need Shutterfly. Shutterfly makes it easy to create a holiday card that pops, with options like double thick cardstock, foil accents. They'll even address your cards for you. Make it great, make it easy, make it Shutterfly.
Make it more tinsel?
Nope. Get 40% off everything with code CARDS40 at Shutterfly.
Always lived in California, but never did take up surfing.
Tied at 7 between the Bulldogs and the Hornets as we get ready for the start of the second quarter. There you see the fans enjoying themselves. I tell you, 60 to 80,000 fans every single year for this ballgame. You saw the shot of this stadium, and Legion Field is not only a lot of fans on the inside, but a lot of fans on the outside.
A lot of tailgate going on this afternoon, and look, it's been going on all week. I mean, RVs have been packed here since Wednesday afternoon. As you know, fans, they take the week off or half the week off. They know in advance it's going to be the last Saturday in October, so you know the alumni, they can plan in advance for this big ball game, and it never fails to disappoint.
Yeah, no question. I mean, there was a parade this morning at 8 a.m. I mean, you had to get up early in the morning, but a lot of people just parked their cars around the stadium and either, took other transportation to go to the parade, because once this area gets filled with cars, you got to walk a little country mile in order to get over to the stadium. Here's Langford on the pass. It's complete, and then fumble. They're going to call the pass incomplete. And that will bring up second down on the Kenyon Hambrick was the intended receiver, the junior from Bowlerville, North Carolina.
Yeah, good defensive play coming up to dislodge the football was Mickey Victor, the senior cornerback out of California, transfer from UNLV. And so it's going to bring up another punting situation here for Alabama A&M. And neither one of these offenses can seem to get on track here in the first half.
We talked about Keenan Hambrick, the transfer from Appalachian State, came over with Caleb Dawson, who's on the defensive side. Both transferred from Appalachian State. McMinn has to go all the way back, and he will take off with the football. Gets across the 40, and McMinn, boy, he has put Alabama State in tremendous field position, and the Hornets will take over when we come back. Tied at 7 here in the Magic City Classic.
Some college players give it their all. But when I say player, I don't mean the ones with the ball. I mean the ones that play drums, the brass, the woodwinds. These players bring excitement to the stadium. Because for them, halftime isn't a break. It's game time. Pepsi is a proud supporter of HBCU students. Pepsi and HBCUs. That's what I like.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Brandon lights up the court every game. Soon, he'll do it as an electrical engineer. Jordan specializes in logistics and supply chain management, on and off the field. Ashley's been schooling players at the net and student teaching in the classroom. Alabama A&M, 4 years of artistic, academic, and athletic discovery. We deliver the full university experience. Alabama A&M University. Start here. Go anywhere.
Right now, everyone is celebrating and excited to be back outside, enjoying restaurants, concerts, and family and friends.
While I celebrate with you, I want to caution you, COVID is still a real threat in our community.
At Alabama State University, we're committed to keeping our community safe. That's why we're offering free vaccination and booster shots.
Make your appointment today.
Let's stay outside.
Tied at 7 between Alabama State and Alabama A&M, as the Hornets will get the ball first down and 10, and they go nowhere to start this drive out.
Hornets so far this afternoon, negative 5 yards of total offense, -9 yards rushing so far in this ball game for Alabama State. Alabama A&M with 39 yards of total offense.
There you see a live look at Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Jackson State, 23-0 with 5:25 left in the second quarter. Jackson State just scoring, and I tell you what, for Jackson State, they want to continue to roll, try to get some things going on to see if they can get back into the hunt. Complete for Alabama State. Great catch. That's going to be Isaiah Scott, the 6'1 senior from Linden, Alabama.
Biggest play of the afternoon for either one of these offenses. Good pump fake in the pocket by Stewart, then comes back across the middle to Scott for a big-time completion into Alabama A&M territory at the 41-yard line.
That will bring up a first down. And Scott once again with the reception and the run. And for Isaiah Scott, came into this game second on the team in receiving yards. He came in with 11 receptions, 160 yards, and a touchdown so far this season for the Hornets. And a lot of that is, Alabama State has just a dynamic running football team.
Yeah, they like to run the rock. They like to control the line of scrimmage. But then if they can get that play-action game going and get these receivers involved, Keyshawn Johnson, Isaiah Scott, they have some talent on the outside, just haven't been able to get that consistency the way they want it.
And a keeper here by the quarterback, Damon Stewart, finally stopped by the quarterback, Ken Eziomume.
And again, you see the play fake there, just a little zone read. Good open field tackle that time to bring Stewart down with the big paw. Just a big swipe on the left ankle brings him down.
Marvin Smith with the swipe and Eziomume with the touch. And that brings up third down here for Alabama A&M. Both of these teams have seen big crowds this year. And talked to the athletic director of Alabama A&M, Paul Bryant, set a new home attendance record in one game, over 26,000 in that game against Tuskegee. And the throw here by Stewart is incomplete.
Yeah, he had pressure in his face and had to get rid of the football quickly, but Alabama State likely in 4-down territory here at the 33-yard line, and you see the Alabama A&M coaching staff telling their defense to stay on the field in anticipation of Alabama State going for it here on 4th and short.
Well, if you can't see that, Coach, you got to get some glasses. That bright green shirt on, you're really going to need some glasses.
Like a traffic cop with a stop sign in the middle of the school zone.
Fourth down and A&M with a big defensive play as Marcus Harris II goes nowhere on that run.
Yeah, Zarion Hayes got some help from Tony Overstreet. Watch them just collapse that offensive line of Alabama State. No penetration for the Hornets, and the Bulldogs in the backfield stop them on 4th down.
Zarion Hayes leads the team in tackles for loss coming into this ballgame with 10 TFLs. And now Alabama State will hand the ball off to the Bulldogs. First down and 10. Langford keeps the football, and he is tackled. You can really tell that they are eyeing what Langford does with the ball at the last minute. Colton Adams right there.
Well, look, they saw the film of what Langford did a couple of weeks ago against Grambling. He had a nice run in the first quarter. They want to limit his opportunities with the football. They want to make other guys beat them.
Pass is complete. Whoa, and a suplex to take down the receiver, Keenan Hambrick.
Well, look, Hambrick's a big guy, 6'4", 205 pounds, going against Victor, who's 6'3", 209. So both of those guys about the same size, and Victor, to the victor, goes the spoils.
That's nice. Tie ball game, third down. Langford, pitch out to Morrow, and he's taken down. And throwing up the hooks for Alabama State. Jacoby Robinson coming in from his safety position to stop that run.
And this is the transfer from North Carolina A&T. And watch the speed of this Hornet defense to get to the boundary, not allow Morrow to get to the edge, brings him down for a loss, and that's going to set up a 4th down. And again, this Alabama A&M defense doing their job, slowing down this Alabama State offense.
You see Coach Maynard giving a little tutelage to his quarterback, Langford. And it looked like that he had an option there, either to pitch it out or take it himself and go up the field. Here is the punt. This one goes straight up and goes out of bounds, and boy, that is not the best punt. And for the second time, the punt team has given Alabama State great field position. We are all knotted up here in the 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic. And there you see Morrow going nowhere after the big tackle. All tied at 7 here in the second quarter between these two teams. It's the 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic. And here is the handoff, shaking and baking, trying to make something happen. A.J. Gates. And finally, he is stopped after all of the up and down, back and forth. Both these defenses trying to make things happen. And the running game that is usually pretty solid there for Alabama State, they have not been as explosive, I guess you could say. It's something Connell Maynard talked about. You can't have those explosive plays.
Well, they're finally in positive category now in rushing yards. They have 2 total yards rushing on the afternoon, 26 total yards for Alabama State. Their lone score came on the 48-yard punt return by Robert McMahon.
Here's the give. This is going to come up with some positive rushing yards as Marcus Harris II will take the ball and get a big gain on first down.
That was a nice running lane over that right side. Watch the offensive lineman get up to the second level. Good kick-out block on the linebacker and a nice move to pick up some additional yardage after the tackle to get deep inside Alabama A&M territory.
Hornets have crossed the 30-yard line now. And now you see Stewart under center. And they fake it, and they give it off to A.J. Gates, who's tackled at about the 30-yard line. So they had everybody bunched up at the line of scrimmage with the exception of one running back, and it looked like that Stewart was going to come back and try to hand it off, but it went right to Gates.
Yeah, just a little weird formation there. Got the tailback kind of hiding behind the right guard. And again, great recognition that time by that Alabama A&M defense. Xavier Billingsley making the stop. But again, Coach Maynard and his defensive staff talked about all these funky formations that the Hornets will come up with to try to trick you. You have to be very disciplined defensively.
And this goes for nothing. This is a pass out to A.J. Gates. Matter of fact, he may have lost a yard on the play. And some of these offensive formations funkier than a George Clinton in the All-Star song. Well, I'm telling you.
And Gates is a small guy. That's why they tried to hide him down. He only goes 5'7", 162 pounds. He's a native of Birmingham, so he's playing at home here this afternoon. But it's going to be a 3rd and long now for Alabama State. And so far this afternoon, they have a goose egg on 3rd down conversions, 0 of 3 so far for the Hornets.
It's easy to hide behind guys who are 6'4", 6'1", 6'3", 6'4". And it looks like we will have a timeout on the field here.
Timeout.
With just over
Alabama
6
State.
minutes remaining in
First charge,
the
timeout
second
and a half.
quarter. Alabama
This will
State
also be
looking over
immediate
things.
timeout.
HBCUs are anchored by legacy. They nurture the talent and determination of their students and prepare them for a bright future. The Home Depot's Retool Your School program has and still believes in the excellence of HBCUs, committed not just in speech, but through the revitalization and upgrades of the campuses these students call home. Building, planting, tilling the dream, all hearts and countless volunteers on the ground. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Every year, thousands of athletes do clutch moments through the fall and hydration. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Hydrate, replenish, refuel.
Huge play coming up.
Talking about dropping the ball.
I got the score.
Tostitos Hardy Dippers.
Doritos created Solid Black in 2021 to help fuel the initiatives of black leaders seeking to drive real change. Like Al, and his vision to spread literacy, literally. Or Marvin Pierre, who's empowering our youth with skills that bridge the opportunity gap. Or Jessica Johnson, whose dedication and dreams helps make college a reality. And many more. Check out their stories and help shape change. Solid Black. Join us, try another angle.
Tied at 7 between these two teams. It's 3rd and long now for Alabama State after the timeout. They get a man in motion now. And here is Damon Stewart. Unloads one, and it is complete. Keyshawn Johnson getting the big catch and a first down.
Great job by Stewart. Look at the offensive line finally giving him some time in the pocket. And Johnson gets behind the defense, picks up a huge first down for the Hornets as they get inside the red zone now as we go under 6 minutes in the first half.
If Alabama State can start to be successful in this passing game, it'll kind of soften things up a little bit more so they can get that running game established.
Absolutely. You got try to get one or the other going. The running game has been non-existent, so you may have to go through the air.
And once again, Keyshawn Johnson with the catch and the run. And he has been so instrumental in this offense here for Alabama State. Really has some great hands.
So, I mean, he's their big play guy. He leads the team with 35 receptions on the season, 471 yards coming into the ball game today averaging over 13 yards per catch, Keyshawn Johnson.
Now inside the 10-yard line. This is where Alabama State needs to be successful. And a timeout. No, it's going to be a flag on the play. So did they call the timeout first?
Offense, 12 men lined up in formation. It's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So a substitution penalty against Alabama State.
And Santorio, those are the things you cannot have happen, particularly in the red zone, inside the 10-yard line. You finally get a couple of positive plays offensively to try to retake the lead, and then you have a substitution penalty of having too many men on the field. Alabama State, they have struggled inside the red zone so far this season. 18 opportunities, they've only converted 8 of those into touchdowns.
And now the ball backs up behind the 10-yard line.
You're marking at the 13, and now...
Timeout. Alabama State.
And now
this
Alabama
will be a
State
30-second
takes
timeout.
Another timeout.
30 seconds.
And offensive coordinator Dwayne Taylor discussing things with his staff.
Yeah, you look at the season stats for both of these two teams, and, look, you can see right there, Alabama A&M, they score a lot more per game, but down below you can really see where the total passing touchdowns to interceptions, kind of even when you talk about the number of interceptions.
Yeah, and you look at the points, Alabama A&M, they score 34 points per game, but they give up a lot of points as well. Alabama State, they only score 17, but they're a tough-minded defensive team, and that's why these teams were so evenly matched. Both 2-2 in conference play. Both had huge wins 2 weeks ago, spoiling homecomings for both of their opponents.
And now with Damon Stewart, he takes off with the football. And Stewart will face a third down here. And, look, when you look at the total yards in this ball game so far, we've just crossed 100 yards combined for both of these teams. About 107 yards right now for both of these teams combined, and we're almost to the halfway point of this game.
Well, as you mentioned in the break, if you like defense, tough physical play, you're in the right spot this afternoon.
Oh, this is your ministry right here. If you like defense, because the defensive ministry is definitely in place. Damon Stewart gets rid of the football after he had a lot of pressure put on him. A.J. Gates was the intended receiver. And this is definitely four-down territory.
Yeah, you saw Zarian Hayes give him a little tap on the helmet like, hey, man, you're my buddy, but I'm going to be on you like white on rice all afternoon long. And he was putting the heat on Stewart once again, forced him to throw an incompletion, and now it's going to be field goal time here for the Hornets.
And so for the Hornets, John Jaden. Thomas Luria will hold the ball.
It's going to be about a 26-yard attempt.
Kick is up, and it is good. And Alabama State now on top with the field goal. It looks like we may have a penalty. Now, Alabama A&M was complaining before the snap that there was movement on the line, but I think this is going to go against
defense,
the Bulldogs.
That penalty is declined. Result of the play. Field goal's good.
10-7, Alabama State on top. Alabama State has taken the lead here in the second quarter over Alabama A&M. And you take a look at how this all happened. This field goal, of course, Alabama State wanted to get into the end zone, and Coach Robinson Jr. talks about that. But here is how this works. And A&M was talking about a false start instead of an offsides.
Yeah, you see the right guard there kind of lean forward for Alabama State, and that's what Alabama A&M was complaining about, is that they wanted a false start on that play, and looks like Coach Maynard had a point.
Yeah, and then, of course, they got that offsides because number 9 stepped into the neutral zone when the ball was snapped, and that was Jordan Mitchell. So instead of a false start, 3 on the board for Alabama State, and the Hornets will give the ball back to the Bulldogs. This kick comes down to about the 13-yard line. Out to about the 30 as DeVero Moffitt on the return for the Bulldogs. Of course, this game, not only does it have the parade, has the game, great tailgating, but scholarships were awarded at the coaches' luncheon. Juwan Howell got a scholarship. Of course, this is part of Magic City Classics drive to keep more kids, to really encourage them. They award these scholarships for leadership, and they're all on and off the field. Juwan Howell with the $1,000 scholarship for Alabama State, and Bryson Clark got a $1,000 scholarship for Alabama A&M.
Yeah, congratulations to both of those young men. Scholarships well deserved.
You love to see that during these classics, not only celebrate the game, but all of the other things that go on, and especially the academic side.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these kids are student athletes. They put a lot into preparation for this ball game, but they do a lot more on their campuses, as in the community as well. And big applause and hats off to those guys.
Bryson Clark, the tight end, with the catch. And you spoke about the community service, and that's something that both of these teams pride themselves in, is great community service, visiting local elementary schools, and really being a part of not only being a player on the field, but off the field as well. There's a catch made by Terrell Gardner, the wide receiver, and he's knocked around like a pinball just past the 40-yard line.
You know, and a lot of times people only see these kids on Saturday afternoon at the game, but you think about being a student first, because you have to go to class and maintain your grades, and then your practice time that you put in to studying as well, but then also the extra time that you put in yourself. If you're a mentor, or if you're helping out in the community, or, just the little things that you do across campus and in these communities, in these small towns, just to be a role model for some of the young high school and middle school students that want to come up and participate in this game in the future.
Xavier Langford with a great pass to Donovan Payne, the other tight end. Payne lost his helmet. He'll have to come out of the game, but it looked like Langford got turned around. He was trying to find somebody to get the ball to.
Yeah, finally, this Alabama A&M offense finally getting on track, putting a couple of first downs back-to-back as they try to get some points before halftime.
And we have an injured player, and that is Bubba Adams down on the field right now for the Alabama State Hornets. That could be a huge loss if he has to come out of the ball game.
Well, you hope it's only a cramp. You see him kind of twirling that left foot there as they come out to take a look at it. You hope it's something minor as he's sitting there on the Magic City Classic logo near midfield. As we take a look at it, he is one of the leaders of the Swarm, him and DeMarcus Cunningham. Both of those guys have had outstanding seasons. You see Bubba Adams to the left, 2.5 sacks, 12 tackles per game. That leads the SWAC and ranks 4th overall in FCS. And DeMarcus Cunningham, he's had a great season as well.
Yep, 46 tackles, 31 of them solo. And it looks like Bubba Adams will come off under his own power. And if you're head coach Eddie Robinson Jr., that is a sigh of relief to see that. It'll probably come out maybe for a play or two, but he is a warrior, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah. You know, Coach Maynard, and talking about preparing for this guy, he's like, look, I'm ready for this guy to leave Alabama State. He's tired of having to game plan around him every year.
Yeah, he talked about it. He says, I've been here 6 years. How long you been here? 7? They had a chance to interact with each other at the SWAC Media Days, and they were talking with one another. And he says, man, I think you've been playing longer than I've been coaching at this school. 10-7 our score here as the Bulldogs have the ball at the 40-yard line. Langford going up top, and it's incomplete. He was trying to go for Terrell Gardner down the sideline.
Yeah, good coverage one-on-one on the outside. Just a simple go route that time. You want to get a little more air under the football if you're Langford. Allow your receiver to run under that. He had a step on the defender, but the ball was a little flat and overthrew his intended target. Bubba Adams back in the ball game now.
And Langford will take the ball, and he'll get it out to the wide receiver. Flag coming up on the play, 20, 15, and that is Cameron Young still on his feet. Touchdown, Alabama A&M. There is a flag on the play, and let's see who the infraction will be charged to.
Now this one looks like it's going to be coming back. You saw the flag fly in as he was running downfield.
Personal foul, blindside block, offense, number 1. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Second down.
Terrell Gardner, the wide receiver, gets called for a blindside block, takes 7 off the board for A&M.
Another huge penalty for A&M. Let's see if we can pick it up. You see Young here.
Can't see it from that vantage point.
Can't pick it up from that camera angle. But the officials obviously clearly saw it, and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. It's going to back Alabama A&M back to their own side of the 50-yard line. Only a minute 15 to go here before halftime.
Langford here on second down and long. Gets the ball out to, it looks like, Donovan Eaglin.
Oh,
there
yeah.
You see on the block right there at about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, he took out two. He took out 2 Hornets on that play with blindside blocks. You could have called either one.
Well, that cost Alabama A&M some points here, but they are inside the 40-yard line, 46 seconds remaining, and they've got all 3 timeouts.
Big third down coming up now for Alabama A&M. They are only 1 of 6 on third downs here in the half.
Langford scrambling, threw it at the feet of Donovan Eaglin, and now that brings up 4th down.
Yeah, poor throw that time by Langford. Kind of rushed it. You want to get that ball up for Eaglin, allow him to catch it and have an opportunity to possibly pick up that first down. Now it looks like Alabama A&M is going to keep their offense on the field as they are in plus territory.
5 receivers set here, Langford, and the offense now looks over to the sideline, kind of a check with me situation.
They need to get to the Alabama State 35-yard line to keep this drive alive.
Timeout, Alabama A&M.
Timeout, A&M. First charge, timeout and a half. This will be a 30-second timeout. 30 seconds.
So Alabama State still has 1 timeout. Alabama A&M now has 2 timeouts.
So a little bit of a chess match now.
And Coach Maynard not happy with Xavier Langford.
He wants to see some consistency. And again, both teams coming off a bye week. You know, they had a chance to regroup. Both teams had big wins 2 weeks ago on the road. And you see Xavier Langford, what he did 2 weeks ago against Grambling in Grambling's homecoming game. 193 yards on the ground, 127 through the air, passed for 1 touchdown, ran for 2 more as he did his best Steve McNair impersonation in that ball game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, in the third quarter with 9:36 left in that ball game, the score was tied at 24. And then Alabama A&M went on went and scored 2 more touchdowns, 3 more touchdowns. They went on to get a 23-yard touchdown pass to Jacoby Hewitt. Donovan Eaglin had a 2-yard touchdown run. And then Xavier Langford capped it off with a 6-yard touchdown run. They scored 21 unanswered in a quarter and a half. Caught. And that is going to be the wide receiver, Terrell Gardner, into the end zone for a touchdown. And so just when you think Alabama A&M will not be able to recover that 6, Xavier Langford connects with Terrell Gardner.
Well, great job by Gardner. A little one-on-one move in the flat, puts him in the spin cycle and takes it to the house. That's the way you make up for a mistake. You wipe out the touchdown of your teammate Young, and then you come back with a big 6 to give your team the lead right before halftime.
That's what you want is momentum going into the locker room. Here's the hold. The kick is up, and it is good. And so now with 19 seconds left here in the first half of play, Gardner with the touchdown pass from Langford puts Alabama A&M up 14-10.
Yeah, great out-breaking route against man coverage of Alabama State. He makes the move after the catch, and there's no one between him and the end zone. And just like that, Alabama A&M likely going into halftime with the lead.
Jacoby Robinson was the defender on that play. You know, look, that time you just saw Terrell Gardner do a great job of just catching the ball and going back to the inside. 8 plays, 70 yards, 3:07 off the clock. Langford, 39-yard touchdown pass to Gardner.
I mean, you talk about a huge turn of events and momentum shift as you see Gardner posing with the belt and the king crown there, if you will. But a huge change in momentum as Alabama State held the lead for most of this first half.
And for Terrell Gardner, that is just his first touchdown reception of the year. And this kick goes to Alabama State at about the 39-yard line. And that's where they will take over with 17 seconds remaining. Well, that almost strikes, and you never know when he's going to strike, but that time, Xavier Langford did a great job in looking at things, and boom, touchdown.
Well, near on 39-yard line, Alabama State still has an opportunity. They have one timeout remaining, so they want to see if they can get in either field goal position or have a shot at a Hail Mary if they can maybe get one completion here. Maybe try to get it up to midfield, try to get it into Alabama A&M territory.
Damon Stewart with the pass, gets it into the seam to Juwan Howell, 9 seconds remaining.
And that's exactly what they want to get the ball past midfield, use that final timeout. Now they have an opportunity.
Alabama State, their third and final timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. 30 seconds.
Alabama State decides to call the timeout with 9 seconds remaining.
Yeah, now they have an opportunity to either take a Hail Mary shot at the end zone or they can go sideline to see if they can pick up maybe another 10 to 15 yards if they can get a quick shot at a sideline. So those would be their two options here. Anything in the middle of the field, time is likely going to expire.
Well, last time out there for Alabama State. Boy, look at the crowd just to see of people watching this ball game. And, you know, look, we asked both coaches, you know, just how big this is. And both coaches said, you know, it's huge for Coach Robinson. He's had just really a unique look at this from not only a fan, not only, of course, a player, a coach, a broadcaster. He's had every look at this except as an official.
Exactly.
Damon Stewart back to pass. 6 seconds remaining. He's going to air this one out. It's up. It is. Is it caught? Touchdown, Alabama State. Caught by Keyshawn Johnson. What a catch to end the first half of play.
Oh, my goodness. What a throw by Stewart. And Keyshawn Johnson going up top, and the officials still trying to unpile everyone. And flags continue to come out. But they have already signaled a touchdown for the Hornets, and they did excellent execution. The first down play, they get it to midfield, get in position for the Hail Mary, and then a sensational throw and catch, Stewart to Johnson.
Once again, Stewart just unloads this one. What a throw. Keyshawn Johnson putting his body in between the ball and the man.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 1. That penalty will be enforced in the second half. Extra point.
So that's going to be passive. That's going to be an unsportsmanlike against Keyshawn Johnson. Look at the elevation on this catch.
I mean, Johnson is the only Hornet in the picture surrounded by 5 Bulldogs, and he comes down with the football. Now, I'm not sure what he did at the bottom of the pile to get called for unsportsmanlike, but nevertheless.
And the extra point is good, and we end the first half with 2 touchdowns in the last few minutes. Keyshawn Johnson catches the Hail Mary from his quarterback, Damon Stewart, and the Bulldogs and the Hornets putting on a show here in Birmingham. 17-14, Hornets on top.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Well, we gotta find some way to save, so say hi to Glenn from work. Hey, that's my mom.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon. We just pick our perks.
Disney bundle, mobile hotspot.
And save on everyone.
That is a good plan. Glenn, looks like we're not gonna be needing you, so I'll see you at work.
Oh, later, Glenn.
Get my plan starting at just $25 when you bring your own phones. Plus, save on the best in entertainment when you add perks, like the Disney bundle. It's your Verizon.
Introducing KFC's new hot and spicy wings. Get an 8-piece of spicy, marinated, hand-breaded wings for just $4.99. Hit it! Get 8 wings for just $4.99.
It's looking good.
From the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, the Ego Power Plus blower, reaching an incredible 765 CFM. And it runs up to 90 minutes on a single charge, exclusively at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
Some people just know what road to take.
Turn left.
Not happening.
Take the next exit.
Don't think I will, disembodied voice.
Recalculating.
You're not from around here, so you don't know the back roads.
Those are the people who know safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
Sheldon, good to see you. I can see you're upset. But when we said ditch the shells, we were talking about pistachios, not you.
Oh, you mean these pistachios? Oh, no, you look upset. You okay, John?
Can we get some arugula, please?
When you get your next big idea, say sparkly ketchup, Grammarly's tone suggestions can help pitch it with confidence to get your team on board.
Did you see her email?
Already calling vendors.
Oh no, a project hiccup.
We need a squeezy bottle.
Good idea. With a more diplomatic approach, your request will get a better response. Problem solved. Grammarly can make all the difference in your professional success. Download at Grammarly.com today.
At Cracker Barrel, 'tis the season for holiday traditions and cinnamon rolls turned pie. Our cinnamon roll pie breakfast is warm, gooey, glazed, and starts at just $8.99. And try our turkey, crispy, country fried, and smothered with gravy. Only here for a limited time. Cracker Barrel. Take care now. Plus, share the home-style holiday cheer with Cracker Barrel Catering and welcome your guests while we do the rest.
A tiny pinch of Knorr chicken bouillon will save you more gas than driving downhill. Because just one sip of this delectable silky chicken ramen noodle soup will put an end to your drive-through dinner rituals. It's time to bring out the cook in you and tell them to throw that glorious powder in that tasty silky combo of delightful carrots, luscious mushrooms, and a touch of bok choy. Knorr taste combos. It's not fast food, but it's so good.
Back here in Birmingham, 17-14 after an electric last couple of minutes of this first half. Ken, down on the field, you can see members of the Magic City Classic, both presidents of Alabama A&M and Alabama State on the field. And just really great celebration here in Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, both bands are in the house. We're going to take a look at the Alabama A&M and Alabama State marching bands when we come back to Birmingham. (17-14) our score. Fireworks at the end of the first half of play with these two teams. As you know, there wasn't a lot of offense to start with, but then, of course, both offenses able to get on the board here in Birmingham. Santoria Black along with Ken Moore. And Ken, you know, look, when you look at this ball game and the history of this ball game, it can always come down to the last few plays, the last drive. We saw that last year. This year, the first half comes down to the last play.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never know how these games are going to unfold. For the first, quarter and a half, it was a defensive struggle. It was like pulling teeth just to get a first down. And then the last 5 minutes, as you mentioned, a fireworks show. Alabama A&M, they go down and score a touchdown. You think they're going to have the lead going into halftime, but then they try a squib kick at the end of the half, give Alabama State really good field position with only 17 seconds to go. They complete one quick pass over the middle that sets up the Hail Mary from Stewart. Keyshawn Johnson goes up and makes a tremendous catch, and Alabama State with a 17-14 lead here at the break.
Yeah, and I tell you what, both defenses played particularly well for a while. Neither team really had a lot of yardage. As a matter of fact, when you start looking at the total number of yards in the first quarter and a little bit, maybe 100 yards at the most.
Yeah, absolutely. But then when we get a chance to look at the quarterback comparison, you'll see that Stewart 10 for 14, and then Langford 11 for 14. So not a lot of mistakes by the quarterbacks. They protected the football. There was the one big punt return. They got the score. And then, of course, we had the special teams issue with Alabama State where they had an issue as well, and that set up an easy score for Alabama A&M to make it 7-7. But overall, the offenses, they haven't been able to move the football a lot, but they have been able to take care of the football, which has been important.
One of the biggest parts of this weekend is the Battle of the Bands, and right now on the field for our Pepsi Halftime Battle of the Band show is the Alabama A&M Bulldog Marching Band. It's halftime. The maroon and white marching band coming off of the field as Alabama State is on deck. 17-14 Hornets at half. SWAC News and Notes presented by General Motors. And, of course, the first one, big one, the SWAC headquarters officially named for Dr. James Frank.
Yeah, the conference office headquarters located right here in Birmingham, officially named the Dr. James Frank Building this Thursday in honor of the former SWAC commissioner.
Absolutely fantastic guy. And, of course, there you see the screen there. Just a fantastic person, was a real visionary. There you see Dr. Charles McClellan in front of the building. Stephen A. Smith was on site. That lets you know how big this was.
Yeah, it was a huge event this past Thursday. Stephen A. Smith, a HBCU alum, as well as they give honor to the building dedication.
Kelvin Doucher, of course, a longtime resident here, also there. And, of course, the SWAC has announced its 2023 Hall of Fame honorees, and they include Ashley Ambrose from Valley, Mary Curry from Grambling, Isaac Hope and Charles McClellan Sr., Glosser Van Richardson, and Eddie Davis, of course, just passed away not too long ago. He was the equipment manager and also longtime supporter of Texas Southern.
And, of course, the SWAC soccer tournament begins next week at Prairie View A&M University. That will take place Thursday, November 2nd through the 5th.
All right, down on the field right now, the Alabama State University Mighty Marching Hornets is our halftime band performance presented by Pepsi.
Grab one of these.
Go ahead. (17-14) our score. Alabama stayed on top as the Hornet marching band on the field. Back after this. Well, the first half was just filled with unbelievable highlights, especially the last few minutes, and it started off with big defense.
Yeah, Zarian Hayes almost had a pick six to get this thing started, and then after a penalty, the punt return by Robert McMahon takes it 48 yards to the house, and Alabama State strikes first.
Absolutely, and then, of course, another special team faux pas, this time by Alabama State. It is recovered, and, of course, taken all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Eventually, Alabama A&M would get a touchdown off of a 1-yard touchdown run by Xavier Langford, and things are tied up at 7.
Yeah, and then, again, defense was the call of the day for most of the first half until Langford finds Terrell Gardner for a 39-yard strike. That put Alabama A&M up top 14-10, only 17 seconds to go before halftime. But then Stewart goes up top to Keyshawn Johnson on a Hail Mary to end the half, and Alabama State on top, 17-14 at the break.
And taking a look at our Pepsi halftime stats, and you can see after a slow start, pretty even as far as total yards, 129 to 122. Neither team doing particularly well on third down. And after really Alabama A&M had a lot of penalties that were not accepted, both teams with 5 penalties so far. Swag scoreboard presented by Pepsi.
Yeah, Alcorn State with a big lead over Valley, 24-3. That game late in the fourth quarter. Grambling at halftime struggling with Bethune-Cookman, 21-14. Jackson State all over Arkansas Pound Bluff, 26-14 in the third.
Florida A&M, of course, on top 14-0 over Prairie View A&M. And then, of course, Southern Texas Southern later on down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. (17-14), Alabama State gets the first half, gets the opening kick of the second half, and they'll take over first down and 10.
So Alabama A&M begins the second half the same way they ended the first half with a squib kick. I assume they're trying to keep it out of the hands of Robert McMahon, but in doing so, again, you give Alabama State excellent field position to begin this third quarter with a 3-point lead.
Well, if you're Alabama A&M, one of the things that you were able to score a touchdown late in the first half, but then you turn around and gave one up late. So, momentum, of course, is on Alabama State's side. Getting the score, now getting the ball, Keyshawn Johnson in motion. And here is the give, and defensively, A&M trying to keep things going here, and Marcus Harris the second with the run.
Right, neither one of these teams have been able to run the football. Only 24 yards rushing in the first half for Alabama A&M. For the Hornets, only 23 yards on the ground.
That brings up second down and 7 here for Alabama State. And, for a team that runs the ball pretty heavily, they have been able to score in other ways. Field goals, special teams, 10 of the 17 outside of the offense. And this time, Damon Stewart will keep it himself, minimal gain.
So it's going to be a third down and long now coming up for Alabama State. Both teams struggle in the third downs in the first half. Each team only converting 1 third down, 1 of 5 for Alabama State, 1 of 7 for A&M.
And now Alabama State, they do not want to give the ball back to the Bulldogs and go 3 and out. Stewart fakes. Now going downfield, complete. And a fumble. The ball has been stripped out of the hands of the receiver, and that is going to be number 51, Xavier Billingsley, with the turnover. Wow.
Well, it's Halloween weekend, and Xavier Billingsley just took all of the trick-or-treat candy from Isaiah Scott, just rips the football away from the smaller receiver, and a big change of possession for Alabama A&M as they come up with a huge turnover here early in the second half.
Give me that candy.
Oh, man.
And takes off with the football. Man, that's a big defensive play. And now Alabama A&M with great field position. First down at the 22-yard line. Langford over the receiver's head, man, and that could have been picked off.
Man, that one had a little mustard on it. Maddox on the coverage. But that could have been an interception going the other way for Alabama State on the tip drill.
Well, just when you think a team is, man, they have, they give up a big play, whatever the case is, they make a big play. So defense has been big. Special teams has been big today. It's all that we thought this game was going to be. And a minimal gain on second down.
Yeah, a little deception that time by Alabama A&M. They tried to act like they couldn't hear the play, the wide receiver on the far side. Then they tried a quick inside handoff to Eaglin. But as you mentioned, it only picks up 4. So it's going to be 3rd down and 6 now for Langford and company. And as we mentioned, only 1 of 7 on 3rd down this afternoon for A&M.
I think when both teams go back to the film room and look at the first half, they're going to be like, we got to do better on 3rd down. Langford looking. And Langford going down. Young rolling up Langford.
Yeah, and again, it's Langford just not recognizing the pressure coming from the front side. Should have been able to see roll out of the corner of his eye, but he continued to backpedal and takes a huge sack that really makes this field goal attempt very difficult.
So now this is going to be 47 yards. 46.
The long on the season for Barbosa is 39.
And this one is blocked. Alabama State has the football. Alabama State returning the kick. This is James Burgess going all the way in for the score for the Hornets. Another special team score for Alabama State.
Another big play. I mean, there was no interior blocking. I mean, that was an easy block. And then the scoop and score by James Burgess, taking it the distance. The junior from Center Point, Alabama, takes it to the house. And you talk about special teams, as he drops the hammer, has been a disaster for A&M this afternoon.
McMinn with a punt return for a touchdown, and now Burgess, after getting the field goal block, returns the blocked field goal for a touchdown. 23-14, Alabama State, the last 2 scores of the ball game. That tacks on another point. 24-14, Hornets on top after a big run after the blocked field goal by Burgess.
Moments through the falling hydration. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Hydrate, replenish, refuel.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
HBCUs are anchored by legacy. They nurture the talent and determination of their students and prepare them for a bright future. The Home Depot's Retool Your School program has and still believes in the excellence of HBCUs, committed not just in speech, but through the revitalization and upgrades of the campuses these students call home. Building, planting, tilling the dream, all hearts and countless volunteers on the ground. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Some college players give it their all. But when I say player, I don't mean the ones with the ball. I mean the ones that play drums, the brass, the woodwinds. These players bring excitement to the stadium. Because for them, halftime isn't a break. It's game time. Pepsi is a proud supporter of HBCU students. Pepsi and HBCUs. That's what I like.
Every year, thousands of athletes did clutch moments through the fall in hydration. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Hydrate, replenish, refuel.
Alabama State will tee it up after the touchdown by Burgess after the blocked field goal. And now Alabama State 14 unanswered. Touchdown to end the first half, and now a touchdown on special teams early in the second half.
Yeah, two huge momentum-shifting plays for the Hornets to give them control of this football game. But as we know, and they make a mistake kicking the football out of bounds, so that's going to give Alabama A&M decent territory.
Let's take a look at that blocked field goal once again.
Yeah, Tyree Sanders coming inside to get the easy blocked field goal attempt, just a breakdown in protection by A&M. And James Burgess takes it to the house as he is escorted into the end zone.
Placed at the 35-yard line. First down, A&M.
And we got an injured player there for Alabama State. He's being helped to his feet.
And you just talk about the swing in momentums in this football game. Alabama A&M went on an 8-play, 70-yard drive at the end of the first half, seemingly to take control of the football game, had a 14-10 lead. But then Alabama State with the Hail Mary touchdown to Keyshawn Johnson. Then Burgess with the block return for a score. And all of a sudden, a 4-point deficit turns into a 10-point lead for Alabama State.
Cole Somerville is the injured Alabama State player coming off the field. He was being helped by his head coach and one of the trainers, and now he will go over to the bench. Coming into this ball game, Alabama State, no touchdowns on special teams. Today, 2.
Huge. Now let's see what Xavier Langford can do. In the first half, he was 10 of 15 passing, 98 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground for Langford, 9 carries for only 5 yards.
Langford, he's being rushed. The ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. He catches the football and throws it away.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
Taking a look at the quarterback summary here today, Langford, 10 of 15, 98 yards passing, a touchdown, 12 of 15 for Damon Stewart, 116 yards, and a touchdown.
Number 16. Spotted the foul. Consumed. Second down.
So that was gonna be a penalty. Langford threw the ball. It was tipped by the defender. He caught it and then threw it again. That's an illegal forward pass.
Yeah, when the ball's tipped back to you as a quarterback, you should be taught just to knock that football down. You can't throw it a second time, so that's a negative play for Alabama A&M as well, and so that's going to put them back all the way to the 22-yard line, and it's going to make it second down because it's a loss of down, almost equivalent to a sack. It's going to be second down and long.
You see 4 down linemen rushing the football. A little stunt there for Alabama State, and Xavier Langford having some problems. Goes downfield, and it is caught. This one caught by LeVar Gums, his first catch of the ball game.
A nice job that time by Langford in the pocket. You see him spinning out of trouble. Could have been a little bit of a hole there. And he has a receiver wide open left, unabated on that far sideline. So a nice completion on second and long. And it's going to be third down now and 3rd and 5 as they need to make the 45 to keep this drive alive.
This is where the Buffet Busters earn their money right here. See Colton Bubba Adams show blitz there momentarily like he was going to sneak up in the gap. And he still may. Here comes a blitz by Alabama State. Caught once again, and this time on the reception is Cameron Young.
That was a good, strong throw by Langford. You see the strength in his arm. There wasn't much separation between receiver and defender that time, and he had to place that ball perfectly to get it to Cameron Young. So Alabama A&M overcomes the big deficit on second down, picks up a huge first down to keep this drive alive.
Now you see trips to the top of your screen for Alabama A&M. Langford goes the other way trying to find Cameron Young, and it's incomplete.
tight coverage that time by Alabama State. Scarborough, the junior out of Birmingham, playing at home this afternoon. Knocks that football away, so it'll be 2nd down and 10 now as Langford looks over to the sideline.
One of the great things about this game is you got a lot of kids from the Birmingham area on both sides of the coin that get their families to come out to this game. Langford going deep, and it is incomplete. Pass was intended for Jacoby Hewitt.
And Hewitt had a lot of green grass in front of him. Stewart just could not get enough on the football. You saw him under pressure, and Hewitt was wide open on a seam route. But the pressure from Alabama State forced the inaccurate throw from Xavier Langford. Alabama A&M, they prided themselves on being a good second-half team so far this season. See if they can overcome this 10-point deficit.
Scored 3 touchdowns in that game against Grambling. And this one is caught once again, Jacoby Hewitt on 3rd down. So Hewitt getting into the action a little bit more. Terrell Gardner, he's got a few more catches in this particular series. Matter of fact, Gardner ranks 3rd in FCS in punt return touchdowns and punt returns. So not only is he a good receiver, but he's also a good punt return man.
And Langford in this offense trying to go a little bit more up-tempo here in this 3rd quarter.
And Eaglin, it's like he was grabbed and thrown down. Bubba Adams.
Watch Bubba Adams on this play. Now, Eaglin's not a small guy. He just brings him down with one big paw. Eaglin, 5'11", 226-pound running back. But Bubba Adams goes 6'1", 244, and he can bench press a house. And he brings him down with one big paw.
So now we see Alabama A&M methodically moving the ball. This is more what you would see if you're Alabama State, moving the ball a little bit more at a slower pace. Here's Langford. And incomplete. Way over the receiver's head. As a matter of fact, the only person that was near that ball was the defensive back, Amon Scarborough. 26-14 as Arkansas Pine Bluff scored one more touchdown. They come within 12 at the end of 3. Pine Bluff still looking for their first win in conference play, 1-6 overall. Jackson State trying to improve and trying to stay in the hunt, so to speak. But it's going to be tough for them. One of these two teams, a win here today, they still have a shot, especially on the Alabama A&M side with Florida A&M, because those two have to play each other still. Langford going deep in the seam, picked off. He tried to go to Scarborough's side one too many times, and Scarborough finally picks it off.
Well, again, Langford throwing off his back foot. Didn't have anything on the football as you see the pressure coming from that swarm as one defense. And that was an easy interception for Alabama State. As Scarborough, again, the Birmingham native, picks it off here at home.
Looked like he was trying to go for Terrell Gardner. And now Scarborough bringing the hammer down. And once again, Alabama A&M, after getting that touchdown late in the first half, Alabama State 2 touchdowns, and now a turnover here. They're deep inside their own territory and a flag on the play. This is going to go against Alabama A&M, I think.
Ball start. Offense. Number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Aurelius Dunn, the center, is the guilty party. Of course, he's one of the guys that came over from Bethune-Cookman.
A tall task now for this Alabama A&M defense. The only good thing about that play is that it pinned Alabama State deep inside their own 10-yard line. So if you can force a 3-and-out here, if you're Alabama A&M, you can still get the football back in good field position. Still a lot of time left in this football game as we just go under the 8-minute mark here in the third period.
You see a lot of shifting for A&M on defense. This one is thrown. Is it caught? Yes. Keyshawn Johnson at the 20-yard line.
Just a deep slant route. You see Pate come up to make the stop. A quick little play action. Good, strong throw by Stewart. You see how he threw it low to keep it away from the defender and to keep his receiver out of harm's way. Good, smart throw that time by Stewart.
Pate on the tackle for Alabama A&M, and that brings up 3rd and short here. This is what you want if you're Alabama State, because you got a couple of different options. And A&M, they look like they are coming after Damon Stewart. Now they back off. That's going to be a first down. And on the carry, Marcus Harris the second. It depends on the spot here. Yep, they're going to give him a first down. And the clock keeps ticking. Under 7 now here in the third quarter. The 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic.
Nice. Look, they only needed 1. They got about 1.5 to keep the chains moving and pick up the first down. But Alabama State, they're going to have to do it through the air here against this A&M defense. Having not been able to run the football this afternoon.
Stewart, the UAB transfer, will keep the ball himself. And he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Great play by the defensive end, Shaquem Gloucester-Pace. And for Damon Stewart, a loss on the play, and this one now 2nd and 14.
Yeah, that was a great penetration that time. They tried a little zone read. They tried to keep it and get it outside. Look, they haven't had success running in between the tackles. Stewart thought he'd try to get outside the numbers. I like to see maybe a screen pass, maybe some outside quick throws.
Stewart with the pump fake. To the sideline, complete. And on the catch for Alabama State, that's going to be DeMontrez Brown.
And this is what you can do as a quarterback. You extend the play, use the passing game as an extension of your running game. Some underneath throws, get it out to the receivers, possibly letting them make some yardage after catch.
But better known as?
Yak. That yakety yak.
3rd down and 7 now for Alabama State. And again, they're trying to get together a sustaining drive. In the seam, and it's going to keep going. It is complete. A.J. Gates not only serves as a running back, but also he can serve as a wideout. First down, Hornets.
And Gates had a nice game a couple of weeks ago against Jackson State. Had 4 receptions for 41 yards and a touchdown against the Tigers, as Alabama State upset Jackson State in their homecoming 2 weeks ago. Big 3rd down completion there. Keep this drive alive, eat up more of this game clock.
And once again, Gates with the football. Gets over the 40-yard line, and on the tackle, Xavier Billingsley.
Yeah, Billingsley, he's had a big ball game here this afternoon. We saw the strip fumble that he had early in this third quarter. 6 tackles on the afternoon for Xavier Billingsley.
7th on the team in total tackles with 19, but 5 tackles for loss coming into this ball game, 2nd on the team. Here is the give. And that is going to go to Marcus Harris II, redshirt sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi. He was recruited by Jackson State University. at one point in time and said that he loved what Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. was doing with the football team and decided to take his talents to Montgomery. Damon Stewart from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and was not the original starter for this team.
Yeah, Demetrius Davis was the original starter, the transfer from Auburn. Struggled a little bit, had an injury, and they've kind of gone back and forth between those guys. But Stewart has manned the operations the last couple of weeks.
Alabama A&M. Correction.
Alabama State takes a timeout.
Their first charge timeout.
2:43 left in the third quarter.
Immediate timeout.
Well, you know, we've been talking about quarterbacks in this ball game. Demetrius Davis, Damon Stewart for Alabama State. Damon Stewart right now with the reins, but Demetrius Davis definitely.
Davis had a good start to the season, completed 69% of his passes, ranking number one in the SWAC, but he did not get any action 2 weeks ago against Jackson State. His last action was against Bethune-Cookman, where he completed 6 of 9 passes, had an interception in that ball game, got a little shaken up in that ball game as well, so he was held out against Jackson State. Damon Stewart took over, did a great job in that ball game, and of course, manning the quarterback position here this afternoon against A&M.
Bottom of your screen, you see the bunch formation for Alabama State as Damon Stewart faces 3rd down and 4. Stewart, quick pass, tried to get it out to A.J. Gates, and that brings up 4th down.
Well, he was about to lead Gates into harm's way that time as Jamarian Ellis dropped back in the coverage, the defensive end, and Gates saw that big fella right there. He's like, nope, I'm going to get alligator arms right now. I'm going to go off the field, and we're just going to punt this football away.
I'm going to tell you what, you know, that's one of the things that you see receivers talk to their quarterbacks about sometimes is that make sure you don't lead me into the lion's den, so to speak.
Yeah, and you saw Stewart do that previously where he had the nice low throw to Johnson to keep him out of harm's way. That time, he almost sent Gates into trouble.
McCready with the punt now for Alabama State. And with the fair catch is Terrell Gardner. And Alabama State on top.
Bulldogs will start from the 25-yard line. First down, A&M.
Doritos created Solid Black in 2021 to help fuel the initiatives of black leaders seeking to drive real change. Like Al, and his vision to spread literacy, literally. Or Marvin Pierre, who's empowering our youth with skills that bridge the opportunity gap. Or Jessica John, whose dedication to dreams helps make college a reality. And many more. Check out their stories and help shape change. Solid Black. Join us, try another angle.
Huge play coming up.
Talking about dropping the ball.
I got the score.
Tostitos Hardy Dippers.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
HBCUs are anchored by legacy. They nurture the talent and determination of their students and prepare them for a bright future. The Home Depot's Retool Your School program has and still believes in the excellence of HBCUs, committed not just in speech, but through the revitalization and upgrades of the campuses these students call home. Building, planting, tilling the dream, all hearts and countless volunteers on the ground. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Every year, thousands of athletes did clutch moments through the fall and hydration. Get yourself back in the game. Get yourself a Gatorade. Hydrate, replenish, refuel.
Well, special teams has been the order of the day for both of these squads.
Well, it has been a problem from Alabama A&M from the jump, and it's been a positive so far for Alabama State. McMahon taking it in from 48 yards out. But then Alabama State had problems of their own with the snap, and that would set up an easy touchdown drive for Alabama A&M. But the Bulldogs return the favor. They allow a block kick, and then Burgess takes it to the house as Alabama State, 2 special team scores as they lead it by 14.
You know, you take a look at this. You've got 2 special team scores in this ball game. They haven't had 2 special team score all year long. Here is Ryan Morrow with the carry. Gets beyond the 35-yard line.
Nice run by Morrow. And Alabama A&M, really both of these ball clubs need to get some semblance of a running game going. For A&M on the ground this afternoon, only 18 yards prior to that carry by Morrow.
And nearly picked off again. That time, the intended receiver was Lamar Gomes.
Well, when we talked to Coach Connell Maynard of Alabama A&M during our weekly meeting this week, he said, look, teams like to play man coverage against us, and we have to be able to take advantage of it. And so far this afternoon, Alabama State has done an outstanding job in man coverage against this A&M offense.
And there is an injured Hornet down on the field. Here you see some of the ambassadors of this ball game. Sinbad, Tom Joyner, of course, he's a graduate of Tuskegee University. Ruben Studdard, honorary masters from Alabama A&M. Sinbad, Steve Harvey, Vivica A. Fox.
You said Willie Mays was the most popular of all the ambassadors?
Out of all of the ambassadors, a poll that was done by the Birmingham News, Willie Mays was the most popular of all of the Magic City Classic ambassadors.
Wow.
Unbelievable. There you see Wendy Williams, Bootsy Collins, Ricky Smiley. Of course, he is a graduate of Alabama State University. He graduated with a degree in English in 1992.
And he held his morning show here a couple of times this week.
Also had 2 live stand-up comedy shows here in Birmingham. So he definitely gives back when the Magic City Classic is in town.
Lisa Ray McCoy, she was my favorite on that list.
Morrow with the carry, and he has stood up. And Young Rowe was trying to rip the ball out all the way into the last minute. There you talk about Stephon Young Rowe. He is one of those guys that Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. talks about. He calms people down.
Coach Maynard there on the Opposing sideline, trying to see if his offense can pick up a key 3rd and 7 here and keep the football.
Yep. Young Rowe also was a recipient of the Marion 9 Award that's given by this Alabama State University football team. Burrow with the catch to about the 42-yard line. Waning moments of this 3rd quarter. And if you are the Hornets, you're pleased with what you've done so far. Victor shaking up on the play.
See if he'll stay in this ball game, and more importantly, what will Alabama A&M do here on 3rd down and short? See if they'll looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field. They may try to draw Alabama State offside. Let's see if they actually snap the football here. 4th down. They need to get to the 46-yard line, so it's 4th and 5 right now for A&M.
And a timeout.
Before the clock hits 0, timeout. Alabama, A&M.
So A&M takes a timeout here on 4th down and 5. A little bit to think about here with 32 seconds left. What you don't want to do is turn it over on downs.
Yeah, I mean, your defense has played pretty well in this ball game this afternoon. I would be of the mindset to go ahead and punt this football away. As you look at the running back comparison for Eaglin and Morrow on the season, you see both of these guys averaging over 5 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns between the two of them, nearly 900 yards on the ground between these dynamic football players. And both of these guys like to run downhill. They are downhill runners, but so far they have been running uphill against this Alabama State defense here this afternoon. Only 32 yards rushing for this Alabama State offense.
And if you are Alabama A&M, one of the things that you really want to think about here is how you want to move forward here on this 4th down play. Morrow, of course, trying to see what he can do. Here is Langford going downfield, and it is incomplete. No chance at the football for Jacoby Hewitt.
And again, Langford just not putting enough air under the football, leading the receiver a little too much. Hewitt had a step or two on the defender, but now this is going to give Alabama State prime real estate on the Alabama A&M side of the 50.
Yeah, Langford, he just overthrew the receiver.
Yeah, I mean, he overthrew him by 5 yards. He had no chance. But this is what I was talking about. You still have an entire quarter to go. Your defense has played well. I would have preferred to punt the football away, try to force Alabama State deep inside their own territory, because a touchdown here would be very problematic.
Here is the give. Flag on the play. And on the carry by Alabama State is Jawan Howell. And we'll have to check that flag here with 15 seconds left.
Holding. Offense. Number 14. 10-yard penalty. First down.
A.J. Lewis on the hold, tight end. That backs up Alabama State. Brings up 1st down and 20 now. .193 total yards for Alabama State. 172 for Alabama A&M.
Of the 3rd quarter.
And that'll do it. We've got 3 in the books here in Birmingham. Alabama State on top. SWAC football on ESPN is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods and outdoor retailer of the SWAC. By the Home Depot, proud sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And by Nike. Alabama State, 15 minutes away from winning their second consecutive Magic City Classic under the tutelage of Eddie Robinson Jr., but the Alabama A&M Bulldogs want to have something to say about that. And, well, you can really tell this week it's been all about, the building, the pageantry, and we'll see how this all shakes out. Now, Damon Stewart goes downfield looking for his receiver, and it's incomplete. But you can really tell the buildup and the excitement behind this ball game all week long.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of these ball clubs wanted to come away with the victory. Of course, it's been, the press conferences and the parade this morning was tremendous. One of, all the people out for the parade at 8 o'clock this morning was fantastic. And you talk about all the RVs that have been here and all the tailgating, all the great food out here in the parking lot. And the party is going to continue deep into the night, no matter who comes out on top in this ball game.
Here is the run.
Demetrius Davis sneaking into the ball game.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, too. And we're going to take a look at this one more time by Davis as he takes off with the football.
Oh, he just tripped over his own man.
One of the things that you notice, though, about this game, and I had a chance to speak with a few of the different stores around the area, and a lot of them says, there's a pass, I should say, and that's going out to Davis. Complete. Davis comes in for a couple of plays. Confuses the A&M defense a little.
Yeah, that was a little trickeration. Davis acted like he was going to the sideline, coming off the field, and he stays inbounds. Now, I will tell you, in high school football, that is illegal. You have to be at the numbers or inside the numbers to be on the field of play. Him being that close to the sideline, I'm not sure if that was legal or not.
And a direct snap. This goes to Juwan Howe, and he gets up to about the 20-yard line. And let's look where Davis. He is less than he's
less than a foot from the sideline. I'm going to have to check the rule book on that one. I'm not sure if that was a legal play, but they got away with it either way. I'm not going to say it was illegal because I'm going to double check on that one. But that was a little trickeration there by Coach Eddie Robinson Jr.
And Alabama State is in scoring territory once again. Now inside the red zone, the most precious territory on the football field. Stewart, pass out to Keyshawn Johnson is incomplete.
And we talked about for Alabama State, red zone has been a challenge so far this year. Only converting 8 of 18 opportunities into scoring, into touchdowns, actually. 13 of 18 overall in the red zone have been the Hornets so far this season. Coming into this afternoon so far today, they are 1 of 2 in red zone scoring opportunities. Big defensive sequence here for Alabama A&M. They cannot allow a touchdown if they want to stay in this ball game.
And this one goes over the head of the receiver. Now, what do you do if you're Alabama State? Do you just keep the gas on, or do you go ahead and take the points?
I think you go ahead and take the points here. You make it a 2-touchdown game. Your defense has played outstanding so far this afternoon. Make this a 13-point ball game if you can. Now, we've seen a lot of mistakes on special teams by both ball clubs here this afternoon. So, first and foremost, you want to make sure that you can protect and allow this kick to get up and not get blocked in return.
John Jayton, the freshman from Miami, on to kick. Kick is up, and this is no good. Wide left. And the score remains 24-14 as we take it to break. So for A&M, it's a big win for them. And for Alabama State, a missed opportunity.
Some college players give it their all. But when I say player, I don't mean the ones with the ball. I mean the ones that play drums, the brass, the woodwinds. These players bring excitement to the stadium. Because for them, halftime isn't a break. It's game time. Pepsi is a proud supporter of HBCU students. Pepsi and HBCUs. That's what I like.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Doritos created Solid Black in 2021 to help fuel the initiatives of black leaders seeking to drive real change. Like Al and his vision to spread literacy, literally. Or Marvin Pierre, who's empowering our youth with skills that bridge the opportunity gap. Or Jessica Johnson, whose dedication and dreams helps make college a reality. And many more. Check out their stories and help shape change. Solid Black. Join us and try another angle.
In 1920, an athletic league was formed and slowly became one of the leading sports associations in the world of collegiate athletics, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Today, the SWAC is looking towards the next century, growing, supporting, and transforming our intercollegiate sports activities for student athletes and promoting academic excellence. Each SWAC member institution represents a high level of integrity and sportsmanship. We are the SWAC, building champions for life.
The 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic, and there you see the offensive numbers for both teams. A&M 172 total, Alabama State 213. But look at those rushing yards. You can tell that the run defense for both teams has been stellar.
Yeah, it's been like pulling teeth trying to get yardage on the ground here this afternoon.
And Eaglin gets a few, and I mean a few.
So for A&M now, you have to go up tempo. Down by 10 points, still plenty of time, 12 and a half minutes to go in this ball game, but you need to get some rhythm into your offense.
Pass complete. This time going out to Keenan Hambrick, the wide receiver.
And we've seen a little bit more zone coverage in this ball game from Alabama State as they want to protect against the run of Langford, as we have an injured Alabama A&M player around the 31-yard line. But Langford last 2 weeks ago against Grambling caught them in a lot of man-to-man defense, and no one accounted for the quarterback. But Alabama State has been doing here today, playing a little bit of zone, but a little bit of man as well, mixing it up.
We'll take a timeout and see about the injured player on the field. And there you see the Alabama State University Hornet fans as they're being entertained by the band. 24-14 is the count right now, and Alabama A&M with the football. They've got to make something happen here, Ken, and if they don't, this is going to be an uphill climb in this complete pass out to Terrell Gardner, who gets beyond the 45-yard line.
Yeah, they're trying to get the offense going again. They're trying to go a little bit up-tempo, try to keep this Alabama State defense a little off balance because the Hornets have had their number. Good move on Bubba Adams to get to the second level, pick up another first down.
The pass is complete, and a gain of about a yard, maybe two on the play, and a fumble on the play. Goes out of bounds, but they say the receiver was down.
Again, Alabama A&M now trying to use these quick outside screen passes outside the numbers as kind of an extension of their running play. As you see the strip here, and looked like that football came out, but it does go out of bounds and retained by Alabama A&M. And
there's a fumble on the play. Alabama A&M has the football, and now you hear all kinds of whistles.
See what happened here. Langford with a quick throw. Gardner, and that was pretty close. Maddox picks it up and takes it the other way, but the officials blow the play dead. I'm not sure if they called it a completion and his forward progress was stopped, or did they call it incomplete? Officials having a discussion at midfield now, and this may end up being reviewed. They're going to spot the football back at the 47-yard line of A&M. We're going to call this an incomplete pass. Big third down now.
And here comes Langford. It's across the 50, still short of the first down.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and about 2 for Langford and company, and they will definitely keep the offense on the field here, down by 2 scores in plus territory across midfield.
Well, this is a big play for Alabama A&M. Turnover on downs here, and this is where Alabama State can really start to run clock.
Yeah, Alabama A&M so far today on 4th down, 1 of 2.
Trips to the bottom of the screen. Here comes a blitz. That's a first down and a lot more. Langford able to keep the drive alive for the Bulldogs.
Well, Langford saw the blitz coming from the outside, and he did the quarterback draw right behind Eaglin up the middle, and he's able to pick up a nice gain, keep the chains moving, and keep the drive alive for Alabama A&M.
Langford, pass, complete. It's going to be Hewitt, and Hewitt getting some great yards there on first down.
A&M able to move the football now, and looks like Cunningham is going to go down grabbing his left calf, and he may be cramping up a little bit. Again, high humidity here in Birmingham this afternoon.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard presented by Pepsi. All-Corn final here, 24-3 over Valley. It's Grambling in the 4th quarter. Still a 1-touchdown lead over Bethune-Cookman, 21-14. Jackson, no problem right now with Pine Bluff, 40-14.
Yeah, and then Florida A&M all over Prairie View A&M this afternoon, 28-7 in a battle of division leaders. And Texas Southern with a 10-7 lead and a SWAC West showdown in Baton Rouge against the Jaguars.
Absolutely, and of course, with these games here, if you're Southern University, you need this win here to kind of stay on top here. Prairie View, that was going to be a tall task going over to Florida A&M as hot as they have been. Try to win that game. Grambling has to win in order to stay alive in the SWAC Western Division race.
Yeah, SWAC West is very tight right now. Southern, Alcorn, and Prairie View, all 3-1 in the SWAC West. So Alcorn winning this afternoon, Prairie View losing right now, as well as Southern. So Alcorn State could find themselves all alone in first place at the end of the day.
And for one of these two teams here, they have to win. One of these two teams basically is going to continue in the race. A&M is in a little bit better position because if they do win, they still have Florida A&M on the schedule to play. If Alabama State wins this game, still a little bit of an uphill climb, but they're still in it. Langford. Pass is incomplete. Tried to get it out to his wide receiver, Terrell Gardner. And a flag on the play coming out late.
Well, they may get a late hit or unnecessary roughness against the defensive back against Gardner. See the football go away. Kind of leans his shoulder into him a little bit.
Targeting.
Oh, they're going to call it targeting.
Number 11. That play is under further review.
This is huge because Scarborough is the starting defensive back, and if he's hit for targeting, that could affect the next game. Back after this. All right, 24-14 our score, Alabama State. And Ken, here's what's happened. Of course, Scarborough had a flag thrown on him, and targeting has been the call. And, of course, they're reviewing this now.
Yeah, so with targeting, and I think the officials call the targeting because it allows them a chance to review the entire play. I thought it could have been a personal foul because he did lead his shoulder into the receiver. I don't think it was targeting because he did not lead with his head. He did not lead with the crown of the helmet, and I don't think he hit the receiver in the helmet. So I expect the targeting to be reversed, but I expect the penalty to stay.
And so we'll get the call here from the official. Because I really didn't see the target. I did see a personal foul.
After further review, there is no targeting on the play. Third down.
And it also negates a personal foul penalty as well.
Yeah, so the penalty and the targeting will be removed. So they deemed it incidental contact. It will be third down for A&M, still trailing by 10. Still a lot of time remaining in this football game. But they need a big conversion here. They're really in two-down territory at the 33-yard line.
Well, for A&M, that was I should say for Alabama State, that was a big, big call because Scarborough, that was your starting defensive back if you would have been lost. And then, of course, he'd have been lost for the next game that they would have had, and that would have been against Grambling in Mobile next week. Langford on the run, fumbles the football, and let's see who comes away with the football. It looks like it'll be Alabama State football.
And guess who comes up with the rock?
Is a fumble recovered by Alabama State.
Amon Scarborough comes up with a fumble on the play.
The guy we just talked about that was initially called for targeting but had it removed. Now he comes up with the pigskin and a big turnover as Langford on the keeper gets popped right there, and the football comes free. And a huge turnover for Alabama State's defense.
Well, that is a huge play. And Scarborough, not only did he pick up a fumble, but he also has an interception from earlier in the day as well. So he's had a big ball game. Here is the give as Alabama State will start pounding the ball away. And if you're the Hornets, one of the things that you are telling your guys, especially running the football, these guys are going to try and snatch the football out of your hands.
Yeah, you have to secure the football. We saw Billingsley for Alabama A&M earlier, first possession of the second half, get a strip fumble against one of the wide receivers for Alabama State. So you're running into that bulldog den. You better have two hands on the rock.
Going to bring up second down here and more shifting for Alabama A&M. Big run here by the Hornets. Jawan Howell gets across midfield and a big first down for Alabama State.
Watch the double team block at the point of attack on 93, and that opens up the hole. Jordan Mitchell can't get there to make the tackle, and then a nice run by Howell, breaking a couple of tackles at the second level to take the football across midfield.
Damon Stewart now with a fresh set of downs for Alabama State. And here's the run again. Alabama State, Howell on the carry. And he gets down to about the 41-yard line.
And again, running through the tackle of Jordan Mitchell, the leading tackler for Alabama A&M. But Howell on back-to-back plays, avoiding Mitchell and picking up nice yardage. Picks up about 7 to be second down and 3. And Alabama A&M coming into this ball game, they said their magic number was 21 points. If they could hold Alabama State under 21 points, they felt like they had a good chance to win the ball game today. Alabama State has only scored over 20 points once all season, and that was 2 weeks ago against Jackson State when they scored 24, and they have 24 again here this afternoon. But 14 of those points have come on special teams, not on offense.
Howell down to the 20 or 36-yard line. And you see what Alabama State is doing now. You see that clock just ticking. If you're A&M, you got to have 2 scores here. That turnover was huge.
Well, you're Alabama State, and offensive coordinator Henry Williams, he's going to have Stewart drain every possible second of that play clock before he snaps it.
Here's the give once again to Howell. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And all they're doing right now is just playing the clock. And they're inside of the Alabama A&M 40-yard line, so it's even more difficult here because now you have to start thinking about if you're A&M, you want to come up with a big defensive play to try to take them out of field goal range. Field goal here really puts you in a bad situation because now you got to come up with 2 touchdowns.
And even if you're Alabama State from this vantage point, you may say you're in 2-down territory because you're not going to punt the football from here if you get into a 4th and long situation or 4th and short.
And that was a big defensive play there by Alabama A&M. Marcus Harris II, the redshirt sophomore from Jackson, on the carry.
Timeout. Alabama A&M.
And now you can start to feel the sense of urgency with that timeout here taken here on third down. And this is where it gets really big here for A&M. Alabama State gets a first down.
Please
you are
reset
in
the clock
big
to
trouble if they get a first down. Here are the SWAC standings presented by GM. And on the eastern side, with a win here, Florida A&M, they can probably wrap up the Eastern Division. Jackson State 3-2, A&M with 2-2. One of those two teams needs to win just to have a chance. A&M is in the driver's seat on that one. In the West, Southern 3-1, Alcorn 3-1, Prairie 3-1, Grambling. Hopefully, if they can win today, goes to 3-2. If not, they'll be out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as this ball game here, you know, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, one of these teams is going to go to 3-2 on the season. Jackson State won their ball game this afternoon, so they moved to 4-2 in sole possession of second place for now. But you'll have two teams with two losses behind Florida A&M, depending on who comes out on top here in this 82nd Magic City Classic. And right now it's looking like Alabama State. But A&M, they have an opportunity to come in with a big third down stop.
A&M next week at home against Florida A&M. How big will that game be? Here is the long shot by Stewart going downfield, complete. First down, Alabama State. And that goes to the tight end, McCray Arrington.
Play fake. Oh, they got away with a hole there. A handful of jersey, but the officials didn't see it. And Stewart with a big bomb down the far sideline. And it's going to be first and goal for Alabama State. But Jace Medlock, the tight end, got away with a jersey pull. But Alabama State is going to have first and goal inside the 10.
That might have been Arrington's first catch this season, and it's a touchdown for Alabama State. Jawan Howell gets into the end zone, and that may seal it here in the 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic. Still 5:02 remaining and a timeout, but now 30-14 makes this a much tougher ball game. The extra point could put them up 3 scores.
Great blocking on the right side of that offensive line. Shannon and Boyd opening up that huge running lane. And now Cannon on for the PAT.
Snap, the hold, the kick is up, and it's good. 31-14 now with 5:02 left in the game. Well, what you didn't need is a big play. You not only got a big play, but a touchdown right after it. Howell goes into the end zone for 6. You win this game. Alabama State now on top 31-14 here in the fourth quarter. And, you know, Ken, we were just talking, this is going to sting if you're A&M if you can't make a comeback in this ball game, because you really had it set up well, because Florida A&M comes to Huntsville next weekend.
Yeah, and coming off a bye week, you really wanted to have a better performance than what they had this afternoon. And it started from the beginning. I mean, they had penalties on the opening drive, penalties on the opening kickoff. It was really a slow, sputtering start this afternoon for Alabama A&M. They really only had one good drive, and it was in the second quarter. They had an 8-play, 70-yard drive at the 39-yard touchdown reception from Terrell Gardner with 17 seconds to go before halftime. They had a 14-10 lead at that point, but they give up the touchdown, the Hail Mary at the end of the half, and you see the numbers for Xavier Langford today. Only 25 yards running the football for Langford just 2 weeks after he had 193 yards on the ground against Grambling.
Absolutely. Well, A&M is still not over. It's still got 5 minutes left in this ball game, and you got a timeout left. And we've got whistles. Timeout, Alabama State.
Timeout, Alabama State. This will be a 30-second timeout. 30 seconds.
And so now the Hornets want to talk about things here defensively.
Right, and you talk about...
All right, it's time to take a look at our player of the game presented by Gatorade, and it is Amon Scarborough from Alabama State.
Yeah, he had 5 solo tackles this afternoon, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, 1 averted targeting penalty. So he had an all-around great game all over the football here today, and he is our Gatorade player of the game for Alabama State.
Big day, boy, 2 turnovers. And, you know, you look at that last game that Alabama State had, one of the things Coach Robinson Jr. spoke about was the 3 fumbles that they recovered against Jackson State. Here is Langford, throws incomplete.
You know, and that Jackson State game was a really weird game where Alabama State only had 46 offensive snaps to Jackson State's 86 offensive snaps. And if not for those turnovers, they likely lose that ball game. But they forced those mistakes by Jackson State, got that huge win in Jackson, and they back it up today. And this, if they hold on to the win, a huge sack by Maddox. If they get the victory here today, that will be 3 consecutive conference wins, as they knocked off Bethune-Cookman back on October 7th, got Jackson State on the 14th, and then you see Maddox coming in on the safety blitz to drop down Langford.
And if you're Alabama A&M, that is not what you wanted. That clock keeps ticking. You got 1 timeout remaining. And it's 3rd and long. If you're Alabama State, you get the ball back, you just try to hold on. Caught by Terrell Gardner. And we talked about all the great things that go on surrounding this weekend. He talked about scholarships that were given away. One $1,000 scholarship given away by the title sponsor, one to each player, or each team, I should say. Parade. There was a job fair. And, you know, what was amazing to us, and if you missed it earlier, there's no school on Friday and no high school football on Friday night in the city of Birmingham.
Yeah, it's a holiday weekend. And it's not for Halloween.
That's a big catch made by Jacoby Hewitt. Keeps the sticks moving, and it's a 1st down.
Yeah, big pass play. And look, Langford's not going to give up. And there was a low snap that time. Just a little breakdown in coverage. Scarborough there to make the stop as they get up near midfield.
Langford, pass, incomplete.
I think that ball almost slipped out of his hands. He had the double clutch that time, did Langford. You see Alabama State trying to figure out what coverage they're in on the back end.
Keenan Hamburg said, you got to get that ball up, man.
Yeah, You don't want to give up a big play here if you're Alabama State. You played great defense all afternoon long. But a mistake will allow Alabama A&M to have an opportunity to sneak back in it. You see the total yardage here this afternoon, 285 for State and a little over 200 for A&M.
Langford with the football, going deep, and it is caught. Big catch there by Jacoby Hewitt, and that's a first down. Another big play given up by that Alabama State defense.
Yeah, they're just catching them in man-to-man coverage, and Hewitt able to win on the inside seam route, right up the numbers. Great throw by Langford.
And it's a first down and a timeout on the field. Let's see who will call the timeout.
Timeout. Alabama State. Their third and final timeout of the game. This will be a 30-second timeout.
2:40 left in the game, and Alabama State called that timeout, defensive timeout.
Well, Coach, Eddie Robinson Jr. not liking what he's seeing from his secondary on those last two pass plays that they were able to complete deep downfield, and he wants to make sure that they are on the same page. Looks like it was some confusion in the secondary on those last two plays.
Well, we talk about all of the big players that play for both these teams. How about this guy here, Robert Mathis?
Man, he's been a terror. He was a terror at Alabama A&M and also in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts. As you see what he did, he was a three-time winner in this ball game. 88 solo tackles in his career at Alabama A&M. And he is a guy that could find himself in the NFL Hall of Fame after his great career with the Colts.
Here is the run. And taking off with the football once again is going to be Xavier Langford. Second down after a big gain. Gets to about the 10-yard line, maybe inside the 10, depending on the spot. Langford over the middle, incomplete.
Again, Alabama State just in man coverage in secondary. Langford tried to go to the inside slot receiver that time, Gardner, but he was well covered in the end zone.
Just heard from a commissioner of officials, Eddie Kelly, and he was talking about that targeting foul. The reason that there was no personal foul called is because there was no targeting call. And incomplete.
Need to ask him about that Davis completion on the sideline when he was like one step from being out of bounds. Needs to know if that was a legal play. It's going to be third down now for A&M. Down by 17. Need 3 scores. They don't convert here. They may go for the field goal.
And it is complete down inside the 1. And actually,
Hewitt's going to say he wasn't down.
Yeah, Hewitt is saying that
he rolled over on the defender.
At about the 2-yard line.
And I think the officials are going to talk about it there. They may change the call here to a touchdown. Clock continues to run as the officials have not stopped play as of yet, but no, they're going to mark it at the 1-yard line. Replay here would have to come from the booth.
It's going to be first and goal now. Fourth down, rather. This is it right here. Langford, tipped, incomplete. Let's look at this here by Langford.
Yeah, this is the third down play. Hewitt, let's see if his knee actually hits. No, does
that
not.
Was a touchdown.
Phillips did not get him to the ground. Neither his knee nor his elbow hit the ground. A&M does not get the score, and then they fail on fourth down. And so it's going to be a turnover on downs, and Alabama State is going to get the football at the 1-yard line.
And there's all kinds of whistles on the field. Certainly did look like that the knee nor the elbow was down.
And we saw the back judge come in and kind of signal, kind of a rollover signal, but whatever that conversation was, it did not amount to an overturn. And now for Alabama State, they just need to not take a safety here.
That's it. And you see everybody stacked on the line.
Demetrius Davis in at quarterback now, and his helmet flies off.
So he have to come off the field.
Second down.
Sometimes those dreads work against you.
Players working right outside the goal line.
Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. looking for his second consecutive victory, looking to go 2-0 in this classic.
Raider, please reset.
Nike will come into the ball game. Redshirt freshman from Fairburn, Georgia. Davis had to come out of the ball game. And the pile gets pushed forward to about the 4.
I think in Philly they call that the tush push now, right?
Alabama A&M. Be a 30-second timeout.
A&M calls their final timeout.
Well, disappointing afternoon for Alabama A&M as they'll lose their second consecutive classic. And, you know, both of these coaches said, look, their fan bases and implore them, win 2 games, win the homecoming and win the classic.
Yep, there's a man that played well, had a chance to see him play 97 to 2001. The all-time leading passer in Alabama State history, Darnell Kennedy.
Over 11,000 yards passing. The next person closest to him only has 5,000 yards passing, so he's going to hold that record for a while. From Mobile, Alabama, won this ball game in 2001, 102 touchdown passes in his career, Darnell Kennedy.
AAC Coach Connell Maynard talking to the officials about that touchdown that was not called. It was called basically he was down. But nonetheless, Alabama State trying to close things out here. And there's another tush push across the 5. And now all A&M can do is watch the clock.
And for Alabama State, they're going to take their 3-game winning streak back home, where they'll take on Grambling next week in Mobile.
It'll be another classic. This time it will be Port City Classic. Yep. Glad People Stadium was there last year, as a matter of fact. And it's right in the middle of a neighborhood, so you get down there and you get down there early because it will be full. Last year, Alabama State played Jackson in Mobile, and you can just imagine the amount of people that were there last year.
And then for Alabama A&M, as you mentioned, they'll be home next week. They'll take on Florida A&M.
Offense, number 11. Half the distance to the goal, 4th down.
This is a delay of game. So if you're A&M, you think about what could have been, because, again, you had the schedule set up for you. FAMU comes to Huntsville next week. Then you're at Bethune and then at home to wrap up the regular season against Valley. So you really have the schedule set up for you.
So one more snap left in this one, and this one, cooler heads to prevail at the end of this one.
Absolutely. And that's something that Coach Robinson Jr. said, as a matter of fact, in our discussion, is to keep control throughout the entire game. You have to be able to do that.
Please reset the game clock to 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Correction, 8 seconds. 8 seconds.
So they have to reset the game clock now to 8 seconds.
They're 4th and 5 here, so you're Alabama State. Either you're going to pooch kick this, or you may just throw the football as far as you can and hope that all of the time can elapse.
Right,
or you can just take a safety.
And they take the safety. And did the clock start in time was a question, because there's still 3 seconds on the game clock according to what it says there.
Yeah, he tried to run out all of the time, but I think there's going to be 3 seconds left, so that's going to result in a safety that makes it 31-16. So it'll be 31-16, and there will be 3 seconds left, and then we'll have at least one more play for the free kick.
Yep. And A&M had everybody on the line, so trying to get rid of the football was going to be a little challenging.
Yeah, if he would have just thrown it, the time would have elapsed. But coaches said, hey, just run out of the back of the end zone, take the safety, and
Led is a freshman.
We'll figure it out from there.
Yep. And there you can see the Magic City Classic trophy, which headed back to Montgomery, capital city.
Two years in a row.
Yep. Well, you talk about two fan bases that are just absolutely passionate about this game. It's a whole week. A lot of people, they take their vacations around this week. So they say, hey, that Friday is my last day, and I won't be back until the next Monday. Similar to what the Florida Classic is and the Bayou Classic. Here is the free kick. It stays on the ground. And it'll be picked up. And that will do it.
And Eddie Robinson gets the Gatorade bag.
The 82nd Magic City Classic belongs to Alabama State. (31-16) the final score from here in Birmingham. And Ken, if you're Coach Robinson Jr., you are ecstatic about this game. If you're Coach Connell Maynard, you got to get the troops together for a big game next week and kind of think about what was.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a slow start for A&M, slow start for both ball clubs offensively. Offenses finally got on track near the end of the half, and then it was just a matter of which team could make the least amount of mistakes, and that was Alabama State here this afternoon, as they had a dominating second half to come out on top in the 82nd edition of the Magic City Classic.
So for Ken Moore, I'm Santoria Black saying so long from Birmingham, Alabama, where the final score is Alabama State 31 and Alabama A&M 16. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.